Notice of this meeting saying the date, place, and time has been disseminated as required under the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Clerk, can you please conduct the prayer and flag salute?
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the event of an emergency, the proper method of exiting the council chambers is through the 3 doors in the rear of the room. Occupants should proceed down the staircase, out the front door, and away from the area of the front steps. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment session at the end of the meeting, please sign in on the white sheets provided in the front of the room. Please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate. If you must take a call, please leave the council chambers to do so. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Ormond?
Here.
Javik?
Here.
Brown? Here. Mohammed?
Here.
Cosby?
Present.
Roman?
Present.
Strano?
Here.
Coates?
Here.
Medina is excused. Hickey?
Here.
Mrs. Yamikaitis?
Here. Approval of the minutes of the September 17, 2019 public meeting. Can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting on September 17th and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Abstain.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Abstain.
Mrs. Yamikaitis?
Yes. Okay, we're going to start with our presentations. First one, we have honoring Margaret Lamb and Prosperity Resource International. I ask the mayor to please come down to the floor. Ms. Lamb, if you could please come up. Ms. Lamb, could you please come up to the dais with the mayor?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Tonight we have a resolution honoring Mrs. Carolyn, Tonight we have a resolution honoring Margaret Lamb and Prosperity Resource International Incorporated. Anyone knows Linden knows that we are a town that we have a unique mix of business and residential, and it's our business community that strengthens our residential community. They provide opportunities, job opportunities for our residents, and in some cases, all too often, they not only provide job opportunities, they are very they give money away. Okay. Having a hard time getting that word out. But anyway, Margaret Lamb is such a person. So this resolution will honor her, and it reads, whereas Margaret Lamb, a native of Hong Kong, has been the Chief Executive Officer of Prosperity Resource International, Inc., headquartered in Linden, New Jersey for 13 years. And whereas Margaret Lamb, while running a successful business, has been a community leader in strengthening the relationship of all heritage Chinese people to American society. And whereas Margaret Lamb founded the New Jersey Chinese Festival in 1989 and has continued as the festival leader for 30 years. And whereas Margaret Lamb has voluntarily served on key state commissions, included the Gubernatorial Ethnic Advisory Council from 1992 to 1994, as a member of the Schools Ethics Commission 1998 to 2003, as president of Northern New Jersey Chinese Association 5 terms, and most recently the founder and chair of the United Chinese American Association of New Jersey in 2017. And whereas Margaret Lamb has engaged in significant charitable activities, notable of which was the establishment of the Center of Chinese Art at William Patterson University, as well as providing scholarship programs for Chinese American students, and whereas Margaret Lamb donated generously toward the Xi'an earthquake disaster relief in China, the typhoon disaster in Taiwan, and the tsunami relief in Asia. And whereas through her leadership, philanthropy, and business expertise, Margaret Lamb has been awarded over 80 separate awards and recognitions from around the state and country, including the Ellis Isles Medal of Honor in 2004, the Citizen of the Year by the Montville Township of Chamber of Commerce in 2018, and the Community Hero by the Museum of Chinese in America in New York City. And where such business and cultural and philanthropic activity brings great credit to the city of Linden and to all caring individuals advocating for more inclusive and diverse American society. Now be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the City of Linden does hereby extend its heartfelt congratulations to Margaret Lamb and Prosperity Resource International, Inc. for the years of economic contribution to the City of Linden, and does formally express its appreciation to Margaret Lamb for her lifelong dedication to improve the lives of others, engaging in meaningful public service and promoting vibrant cultural and heritage events with the goal of bringing all of us together. Out of many, one. And it's signed by myself, Mayor Derek Armstead, and Michelle Yamakaitis, Council President. And we thank you for all you do in our great city. The pleasure is mine. If you'd like to say a few words, you may.
Okay. Let me see. It's a whole street long. Thank you, Mayor, and the First Lady, Denise. Thank you very much, and your lovely daughter. And I've seen you several times, and always remember. What an honor. I humbly accept it. And for this long list, actually, I have forgotten, nearly forgotten, but you remind me. Thank you. And usually I'm honored, either my business or my community service, but today, he combined everything together, and I feel he's the best, because you can't serve the community without a good business. So, and with the business I have, I make money, support friends, and support all culture and every activity, especially support my tax. So, and secondly, I would like to thank my husband, David. David, will you please come out? David Yan's been with me. Come out. David has been supporting everything I do, and we have good time together with the community. You saw him, right? Around. And also, and I think I have said whatever I wanted to, and thank you all my friends who come tonight. You all who come here today will be my best friend all my life. We have the Board of Education person, committee, and we have all those media, and I have Kirby, and I have our soprano, the Chinese most famous soprano, Liu Bin, the tenor. You want him to sing for you? And my very nice Alan, yeah, and Kudai Fang, Benny, so everyone. So thank you so much, and what should I say? I thank the town of Linden. I will keep making money for your town. That's all. Thank you. You want to say something? Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Can everybody come out, take a picture with me?
Okay, yes. Congratulations once again. Okay, now I would like to call up, we have a resolution honoring Carolyn Conrad Fries as an 11-month breast cancer survivor. I'd like to ask Mayor Armstead, please stay down there, and Ms. Cosby, please join him, as well as her daughter, Kellyanne Fries. Her mom could not be here, but Kellyanne will be receiving the resolution on Carolyn's behalf.
And I will let the councilwoman read the resolution. She's been very active and has really come out very strongly in support of women who've had breast cancer, so we appreciate that. And when you do a good thing, we'll talk about it, right?
Okay. The second time tonight. I don't know. So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
When I got on council 9 years ago now, we initiated breast cancer awareness for survivors. So it's important that we celebrate the people who are survivors, men and women. And in our city, we do appreciate. And your mom's not here, but she was like, oh, I don't know. So we've acknowledged and celebrated women in our community. We celebrated Jackie Barksdale. We celebrated Nancy Braxton. And tonight we're going to celebrate Carolyn Fries. And I'm going to read the resolution. So, all right. Resolution honoring Carolyn Conrad Fries as an 11-month breast cancer survivor. Whereas every 69 seconds, somewhere in the world, a woman dies of breast cancer. Every 3 minutes, a woman in the United States is diagnosed with breast cancer, and every 13 minutes, a woman loses her battle with the disease. Whereas worldwide breast cancer is the most frequent diagnosed life-threatening cancer in women and the leading cause of cancer death among women, and whereas increased public awareness and improved screenings have led to earlier diagnosis and the survival rates for breast cancer and improved significantly. And whereas Carolyn Freeze has worked for the City of Linden for over 25 years in various positions throughout the city and is now enjoying work at the JTG Center. And whereas Carolyn Conrad Freeze was diagnosed with breast cancer in October 2018 after her yearly mammogram and ultrasound. And whereas Carolyn had a mastectomy in November 2018 and reconstruction surgery in March 2019 with a future surgery scheduled next year. And whereas Carolyn Conrad Freeze, mother of Joan, how you say it? Her mother. Miss Joan McKittrick Conrad and her sisters are both over 20-year survivors of breast cancer. And whereas Carolyn Conrad Freeze is the wife of Robert Freeze and the proud mother of Kathleen, Ryan, Kristen, Carolyn, and Kellyanne Freeze, and the grandmother to Riley, Caitlin, Donovan, and Owen Freeze Crobat. Tegan Freeze, Corin, and Kennedy Spaganitz, and given her joy and are the greatest treasures. And whereas this month, Carolyn Conrad Freeze celebrates 11 months of being cancer-free. Carolyn Conrad Freeze encourages everyone to embrace life every day and to remember that no one is promised tomorrow. And whereas the month of October was declared Breast Cancer Awareness Month nationwide, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the Council of the City of Linden, we recognize Carolyn Conrad Freeze for her courage in fighting this disease and wish to thank her for her dedication in increasing awareness about cancer and early detection. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be placed in the minutes of the City Council for the City of Linden and appropriately presented to Carolyn Conrad Freeze. It's going to be passed tonight, October 15, 2019, and signed by Council President Michelle Yamakaitis and Mayor Derek Armstead, and attested by the City Clerk Joseph Baudet. So thank you for accepting this on your mom's behalf. I know she's traveling, so thank you. You had known.
We gotta get a picture now, really.
You gotta get a picture. Let me take my glasses off.
Thank you so much.
You say something?
My mom asked me to send her regrets that she wasn't able to be here, but she is very honored that you chose her and wants to thank you, Mr. Mayor, and all of council for recognizing her for this resolution. It really meant a lot to her and to us as a family. Thank you.
Okay, our next resolution is supporting October 13, 2019 as National Metastatic Breast Cancer Day. Mayor, Lauren,
You have the resolutions?
the resolutions. Okay, I want to call up Lauren O'Brien.
Hello, how are you? So good to be seen. Okay. We have another resolution declaring October 13th, 2019 as Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day. Whereas October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, let it be known that the City of Linden is pleased to recognize and observe October 13th, 2019 as Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day, and hereby recognize Medivivers of New Jersey as the first state chapter of Mediviver Research and Support, Inc. Whereas breast cancer is the most common type of cancer among women in the United States and second leading cause of cancer death, more than 1 in 8 women and 1 in 833 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. In 2019, an estimated 271,270 Americans will be diagnosed with breast cancer, including over 8,340 women in New Jersey. And whereas metastatic breast cancer occurs when breast cancer spreads to other parts of the body, including bones, lungs, liver, and brain, and has an average life expectancy of 26 months, regardless of early detection. Approximately 30% of stage 0 to 3 breast cancers will return as stage 4, approximately 42,000 260 Americans will die from breast cancer in 2019, with 98% being from metastatic breast cancer. This is the equivalent of 115 deaths per day. And whereas Mediviver educates the public about metastatic breast cancer research, they prioritize converting the disease from a terminal to chronic by hiking the current 5% of U.S. metastatic breast cancer research dollars for stage 4 treatment to 30%. This mission is captured in the Don't Ignore Stage 4 national social media campaign. Extensive research efforts are underway to save lives, including the clinicaltrials.gov database and Storm Riders Network, which both provide critical information about ongoing clinical research studies on breast cancer-specific trials. And whereas Medivivers of New Jersey Facebook group was founded by Tammy Bowling and Lauren O'Brien of Scotch Plains in April 2019 as an active response to stage 4 breast cancer patients and their communities in and around New Jersey. An essential network to access current breast cancer information, calls to action, and opportunities for community engagement. It also serves as a source of hope for patients, families, and friends impacted by the disease. Whereas the pink ribbon is well known for representing the fight against breast cancer, the breast cancer awareness ribbon colors only include pink as a thin overlay to signify that the cancer originates in the breast. The addition of green and teal represents the triumph of spring over the winter, life over death, renewal, hope, and immortality, healing, and spirituality. Now therefore be resolved that the Mayor and Council of the City of Linden hereby join the nation to recognize October 13 as Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day. Citizens are encouraged to join the efforts towards awareness of breast cancer in October. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented as a sincere token of this council's best wishes to our Medivivers of New Jersey representatives. And it's signed by Council President Michelle Yamakaitis, myself, Mayor Derek Armstead, and certified by Joe Bodick, our city clerk. Yes, you can.
There's a lot of numbers in there, and I'm back again. Thank you for having me in May, council members and mayor. I'm here because last week I had the honor of being in Washington, D.C. with over 250 metastatic breast cancer patients or advocates, usually people who are family members of those who were lost. Metastatic breast cancer is the #1 cause of death for women under 40 years old. Most women who I met were under 40 years old, 32 years old with months to live. The average expectancy is 2 to 3 years. We were there for one reason, because we discovered that metastatic breast cancer patients are supposed to be able to wait for 2 years for Social Security disability insurance. They don't have that life expectancy, so that's a bogus law. So we are trying to get that waived, as well as have them covered for oral chemotherapy as well as intravenous chemotherapy, which are not considered the same insurance-wise now either. Those are federal bills. What I want to tell you about is that probably, if you really ask, you're going to know someone who knows someone who's died from breast cancer. That is because it's spread to another organ. It has spread to either the liver, the brains, the bones, or the lymph nodes. And that's what takes a life. There's no cure. My friend Tammy, who I co-founded this chapter with, discovered it 4 years ago in her liver, and the medication that she's on came out 3 months before she was diagnosed. She wouldn't be here right now if that research money wasn't there to get that drug from Pfizer. The percentage of research dollars is only 2 to 5%. 2 to 5%, yet an airplane equivalent falls out of the sky. 115 bodies a day are dying from this disease, and it's underreported. So something's very wrong there. We're here at Medivivers of New Jersey to advocate for those patients and anyone. I have no attachment to the disease yet, thank goodness, but I am there because we need a lot of you who maybe aren't attached to the disease to keep helping us carry the torch for these patients and change the research amount. So thank you so much for having me.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you again, Lauren, for all the advocating you do for this wonderful cause. Okay, next I have the pleasure of inviting up this little beauty, Viviana Perella. Will you please come forward? She's one of the top 10 finalists in the Miss New Jersey pageant. Come please to join the mayor.
Who wants the microphone?
She wants the microphone?
Do we have a resolution?
Yeah. Maybe we have a little stool there for her,
Tell
Mayor.
you. Hey, come in front. Come in front. So we
need a
we
stool,
want everybody to see you. Stay right here. Right here. I'm going to read the resolution. Then we'll take a few pictures. Okay, we have a proclamation for this gorgeous kid here. Whereas Vivian Perilla was born on February 5th, 2014, and lives in the 10th Ward of Linden, and attends kindergarten at St. John the Apostle School, where she is practicing reading and writing the alphabet while in preschool. She's had the opportunity to build on her social skills, basic vocabulary, and help plant a class garden. And whereas Viviana Perilla, in June, she attended the Puerto Rican flag-raising ceremony in front of Elizabeth City Hall, and in July, she waved on a float at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, also in the city of Elizabeth. And whereas Viviana Perilla, in August, entered the Beauties of Puerto Rico cultural pageant held by the Puerto Rican Alliance of Elizabeth. She represented the Pueblo of Vega Baja and performed a cultural dance to It's Almost Like Praying. She also modeled a beautiful gown, sash, and tiara during the walk on the red carpet. And whereas Viviana Perilla in the Miss New Jersey pageant for the Nation American Miss Organization, she placed overall top 10 and won Miss Personality, Most Promising Model, and Best Resume. She earned the Spirit of America Award and an invitation to compete in the national finals. She also participated in the formal wear, professional interview, personal introduction, community service, and casual wear modeling competition. And whereas Viviana Perilla will be representing Linden, New Jersey in the Miss National American Miss Pageant at Disneyland in Anaheim, California in November of this year, she will be competing in the princess category, which is for ages 4 to 6. And whereas Viviana Perilla was enrolled this past summer in the Jump Immersion Academy, where she had the opportunity to enjoy the Spanish language immersion experience, and she also attended several classes at the Linden Public Library in their Spanish Storytime program. And whereas Viviana Perilla takes ballet lessons, enjoys baking, singing, dancing, paleontology, wow, beauty and fashion, and she loves to travel. She'll be performing as a member of the chorus in her first musical at the St. John the Apostle School in musical Frozen Jr. in the month of January 2020. Now, therefore, it be proclaimed that I, Derek Armstead, Mayor of the City of Linden in the state of New Jersey, on this 15th day of October, do hereby proclaim that Viviana Perilla is a little girl with big dreams and an even bigger heart. Her smile and her kind heart are huge, and she believes big things come in small packages, and that she be recognized for her outstanding accomplishments thus far. Congratulate her and wish her the best of luck in the future, and is signed by me, Mayor Derek Armstead, Mayor of the City of Linden.
Congratulations. Okay, I'd like to call Councilman John Roman down to the floor, as well as Chief Dave Hart. Councilman Roman has a presentation for the police department.
Did anyone leave their cell phone? Anyone missing a
Probably that lady that
iPhone?
Miss Gorilla. I think it's her, the mom.
LG, Verizon?
I think,
Anyone
ma'am, did you
listen
leave
home?
your phone?
There you go, I thought so. Good evening, Linden, and everyone here. Chief Hart, I wanted to thank you for coming up with me to accept this. Back in April 2019, one of my residents in the 6th Ward that I'm honored to represent had asked me a question about microchip scanners for dogs and cats and why we didn't have any in the city. I thought it was a good question, so I looked into it a little bit and I realized I just read previously that a union, some animal advocates in union had collected money and given their police department a microchip scanner. So after talking to Vanessa very briefly, I started a GoFundMe probably around 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and by the time I woke up in the morning, we had raised $840. Not only totally smashing our goal of buying 1 unit, but also we were able to buy 2 units for the police department. So each unit, this is right here, each unit can hold up to 3,000 IDs. So once the police department registers or say Councilman Sadowski's dog gets out more than once, this will be in there and we'll be able to return the dog immediately. Also on top of that, I would say almost once a week, about once a week a dog ends up in the police department and normally they're transferred to Newark AHS to where not only does the owner have to go and pick them up, but they have to pay a fee. This will allow the police department to identify the owner immediately and alert them. That way the animal never goes to AHS. It stays in Linden and is returned to them, and it saves them money in the process. So I'm only the voice here. I set it up, but there are a lot of people involved here, and I just want to read them off because they're really the ones that made this happen. So I'd like to thank Marilyn Stigliano, Pamela Gedman, Danielle Pereira, who just had a baby, I think yesterday, so congratulations. Cindy Godardo, Jen Brook, Donna Bazile, Lois Rumbuscus, Joe Man Auto Service on North South Street, Victoria Redwine, Diane Provenzano, Christopher DeMondi, Sherilyn Tamburino, Tommy Turon, Helen Strakelli, I believe, Kelly Vlasic, Michael Lindahl, Donald Galome, who lives in Toms River and is a longtime Linden resident, Desiree Berger, Robert Javik, Jean Perez, Carolyn Banis, the Lenoir from Roselle, right across the border, and of course Vanessa Reyes, who was the original thought behind this project and this fundraiser. I just want to point out Kelly, I know you didn't want the recognition, but Kelly donated over $200 to this, and I really thank her. It was an awesome surprise. It's awesome what not only that you did, but what all the donors did. And we raised $840. So we got two units. One hopefully will stay in the police department. One could go out in a car in case, obviously the dogs will be getting in the car. So it's an awesome thing, and hopefully we save a lot of fur babies in the process. So, Chief, I want to give these to you on behalf of the citizens of Linden. Take a picture real quick. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny. That's yours. And also, just to add on to that, I have someone who's trained in the software coming to train the police department once or twice. It's really not that difficult to figure out, but she's coming, so thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Okay, ordinance is on hearing. Mr. Clerk, could you please read ordinance 6338?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, shall be and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-33 handicap parking regulations, 7-33.1A handicap parking on street, delete 217 Chandler Avenue, 1 space, 300 Mitchell Avenue, 1 space, 407 Washington Avenue, 1 space.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing and to adopt Resolution 6338 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6339.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-26, Loading Zone, shall be and the same is hereby amended as follows. Add East Baltimore Avenue, all times, the east side of the street. Add Charles Street, all times, the west side of the street.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing and to adopt Resolution 6339 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6340.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, shall be and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-33, handicap parking regulations, 7-33.1A, handicap parking on the street. Add 1215 Bauer Street with the spot on Cleveland Avenue, 1 space, 45 West 12th Street, 1 space.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close and to adopt Resolution 6340 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6341.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, shall be and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-34, don't block the box. 7-34B, critical intersections, add South Style Street and Gable Lane.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close and to adopt Resolution 6341 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed? Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemekaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6342.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-10, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets. Charles Street, both sides between East St. George and Union Street.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
Can I be heard?
Let's call for,
Motion.
okay, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing and adopt 6342 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Yes.
Roman? Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemekaitis?
Yes. Okay, ordinance 6343.
And bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $165,000 for improvements to Veterans Memorial Park and authorizing the issuance of $90,250 bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the passage of ordinance 63-43 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemekaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6344.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 2, Administration, of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 2, Administration, Article 7, Boards, Committees, Commissions, and Authorities shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Delete Section 2-61 in its entirety, add new Section 2-61 as follows. 2-61, Linden Cultural and Heritage Committee.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I offer a motion that we close discussion and the adoption of the ordinance 63-44 and ask for a second. Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemekaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6345.
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the City of Linden, passed August 15, 1995, and approved August 16, 1995. Add Schedule 4-NN-7.
Okay. Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move that the hearing for ordinance number 63-45 be closed, the hearing adopted, and the ordinance adopted, and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemekaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6346.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, shall be in the same as hereby amended as follows. 7-22.2, three-way stops intersections, add East Baltimore Avenue and Union, stop signs to be located on East Baltimore Avenue at Union Street, both directions, Union Street and East Baltimore Avenue.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing and adopt 63-46 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6347.
An ordinance to amend and create a new chapter entitled Train Station Parking Fees of an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, add Section 1A, a new chapter to be created entitled Train Station Parking Fees. Add new as follows, 1.01 Train Station Parking Fees.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
63-47, ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
No.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey? Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. I'm voting no for 63-47.
I wanted to too.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to too.
Okay, ordinance 6348.
An ordinance amending Chapter 7, Section 20, entitled One-Way Streets, Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-20, One-Way Streets shall be in the same as hereby amended as follows. 7-20, One-Way Streets, name of street, add East Baltimore Avenue, direction south, parking permitted East St. George's Avenue to Union Street, but remove Union Street between East Baltimore Avenue and John Street.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing and to adopt 63-48 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Consent agenda. All items listed with asterisks are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Items number 1 through 5. Does any council member wish to remove an item? Seeing none, could we have a motion?
Council President, I request a motion to to accept the consent agenda, items 1 through 5, and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, committee reports and comments from members of the governing body. Okay, Mrs. Ormond, we'll start with you.
Great, thank you, Council President. I'd like to start my report off with the financial report from the Division of Transportation and Parking for the month of September 2019. It includes all the collections on and off-street parking, meters, railroads, parking lots, railroad parking permits, and merchant parking permits. The Trenton side collection, $4,134. New York side collections, $2,767. Railroad credit card transactions, $33,915.66. Railroad permits, $2,952. Online railroad permits, $35,085. Parking meter collections, $12,926.20, and merchant permits, nothing, for a grand total of $91,779.86, submitted by Tyrone Gibbons, the traffic maintenance supervisor. I'd also just like to touch base about some of the upcoming library events. On 10/18 and every Friday until December 27th, there will be chair yoga. There is a social media one-on-one for entrepreneurs, which is going to be Wednesday, 10/23 at 6 p.m. We have the Children's Craft Club, November 21st at 4:00 p.m. Chess Club meets October 16th, November 6th, and November 20th from 6:30 to 8. We have the Big Games Club meeting Thursday, October 17th from 3:30 to 4:30. And then on Saturday, October 19th, we have Aesop's Fables. Next, I'd like to mention Wilson Pond. The park house has been renovated and is now being used by the Spectrum All-Stars and our adults with disabilities. I'd like to personally thank the Parks and Recreation Department, and especially Mrs. Nancy Braxton, who loved our special needs children and our special needs population so much, and she worked very hard to see this happen. I know she is smiling down on us as our children and our young adults have lots of activities and crafts in that house. I'd like to also mention that on October 28th at 6 p.m. in that same building, we're going to have an anti-vaping meeting at 6:00 p.m. On December 2nd, in the same building, 100 block of Orchard Terrace at the Wilson Pond Building, we'll be having a Narcan training. And there's also going to be one on January 6th on John Street. So if you're interested, the Municipal Alliance will be sponsoring those two very informative sessions. Also, I just want to mention that the special needs spinning apparatus has been installed in Wells Park. The final touches will be the ground beneath it, and that should be completed within the next 2 weeks. I'd like to also mention that our first ward community yard sale is tentative for November 23rd and 24th, pending approval by the City Council next month. Permit fees will be waived, and you can email me at lorman@linden-nj.org, or you can text me or call me, 908-370-6482, to have your name added to the list. Also on Saturday, 12/21, and on Thursday, December 19th, on the 21st between the hours of 1 and 4 p.m., and on the 19th between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m., we're going to have a holiday craft make and take. We're doing one on Thursday night for those that can't come on Saturday because of their religious observation, but we'll be doing a variety of crafts from dreidels and menorahs to Christmas trees, wreaths, the whole gamut. And then on the 21st, the same thing, the holiday craft and take. We are encouraging all parents to bring your children, and right now we're working on having a very special guest come and meet us there so the children can enjoy. We also are in the midst of the fall season. We're just asking people to please place your leaves on the curb or on the side of the road, not near the catch basins where they can go into the sewer. Like I said, don't put them in plastic bags, and please don't put them in your green receptacle either. If you need bags, please feel free to give me a call. DPW has given me some for the residents in our first ward, and that ends my report, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right, Councilman Javik?
Yes, Council President. As chairman of the Fire Committee, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected the following monies during the month of September 2019, a total of $7,125.30. Also, in regards to the Linden Fire Department ambulance billing, the amount of $45,480.16 September 2019 have been added to the total deposits for 2019, totaling $523,515.22. First, I'd like to thank everyone that participated in the Fire Prevention Night on October 4th. It was a great turnout, with many happy children winning bikes or gift certificates from the local businesses. If you didn't get there this year, please put it on your calendar for next year. October 5th, we had our first Polish Heritage Day Festival, which was a tremendous success. You got to ask yourself why this wasn't thought of years ago. We had a terrific turnout, 2,000-plus people, and next year we will expand on this with more food and retail vendors and performers. The next day, the City of Linden participated in the General Pulaski Memorial Day Parade in New York City with large crowds as we walked down Fifth Avenue. Coming up, October 19th, this Saturday, 2 to 7 p.m. Flyers are on the table. We will be having our first Latin festival, music, performances, vendors, and entertainment. With a friend of mine, Carlos Rivas, he's going to be the MC. Please come out and support this event so, like the Polish Fest, we can build on this for next year. In the second ward, we're looking outstanding to move into 2020. Any requests or needs, please reach out to me at 908-494-4608 or email me at bjavick@linden-newjersey.org. Council President, end of report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Brown?
Thank you. Approval is requested for the following finance actions. The payment of bills totaling $1,623,096.02. The bills have been signed by the mayor, council president, and finance chairman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the clerk's office. Item number 2, we are in the receipts of investments made by the city treasurer for the month of September at a rate of 2.75%. Item number 3, in order to be in compliance with the City of Linden's best practices, the Budget Review and Finance Committee met and discussed question 33 of the best practices related to the Linden Housing Authority. The consequences of the committee, or the consensus of the committee, was unanimous that the authority serves the public's best interest through after a thorough review of the records and audits. Item number 4, the Department of Finance. In the Department of Finance, the approval is granted for the CFO to submit the best practice worksheet to the Division of Local Government Services by the October 30th deadline. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Abstain on 1, yes to the rest.
Yes, bills.
Strano? Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Abstain on 1, yes on the rest.
Okay. And just quickly, in regards to Polish event, we've talked about it briefly, but I want to say thank you to everyone who was involved. I don't know if it was a month or a month and a half. I know sometimes we do these events last minute, but it goes to show that when you have a group of people who are committed to seeing Linden succeed, positive people working together, you see what the turnout is. And so I just want to thank everyone who was involved, because there was a lot of different moving parts. We had a couple of different meetings, and I think that's what it's about. People got in a room, we brainstormed, we figured out what worked in the past, what didn't work in the past, so that next year we can build upon it. And if Linden continues this trend of doing one event and another event, and you have these annual events, you'll start to see more of a flow in your downtown area of people who are coming outside of Linden to celebrate with us on various events. And the reason why I mention that is because from the very beginning, I've been saying it's not the bars and restaurants that's going to bring up Wood Avenue. It's community-centered, family-oriented programs that people want to get together and commingle and talk and have a good time. So I'm hoping that that trend continues in our downtown area, and we see more events where people can come and enjoy each other's company. End of report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mohammed.
Good evening. Report from the city clerk. Following license, permits, and transcripts issued in the city clerk's office during the month of September 9, 2019, the fees received have been turned over to the municipal treasurer of the city of Linden. 88 birth, death, and marriage certificates for a total city revenue of $1,320. Marriage, civil union license, $99. Domestic partnership, 0. Miscellaneous revenue, $24. Bingos and raffles, $750. EDRS vital statistic, $975. Borough permits, 0. Interest earned, 67 cents. Total for the city is $3,168.67. State revenue, $825. The city clerk's license division is submitted this monthly report for the month of September 2019. This office issued 37 dog licenses and 57 miscellaneous licenses and collected $3,478. I'd like to report that all is well in the Fourth Ward. We've had some situations with trees that have been duly cut, trimmed, and any sidewalk work is anticipated. Anyone has any reports of sidewalks that are broken, please call the councilman at 908-463-4843. Repeat, 908-463-4843, and I will be anxious to assist you in any way possible. Thank you and good evening. And also, I'd like to offer the sympathy to the Braxton family, which I had the privilege of honoring the great Nancy Braxton, who was a city employee here in Linden, and we ask her God's blessings upon her family and sympathy to all who have worked with her. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Cosby?
I'm going to talk as fast as I possibly can. I wanted to thank everyone who participated in the 4th Annual All Cancer Awareness Walk. In September, we had a great turnout and raised funds that were donated to the Linden Lions to be given specifically to a youth cancer survivor. $700 in total was donated. I'd like to give a special thanks to the Braun family, who were big supporters this year, walking in honor of the late police captain Eugene Braun. From the Housing Authority, there is a public meeting on tomorrow for anyone interested in attending, and I can report that they have recently paved the parking lots over there in the past month. There is an opening for commissioner, well, there will be an opening for commissioner in the Linden Housing Authority, and anyone interested should send a volunteer service form and contact the clerk's office or print the form out from the city website. In the 5th Ward, ordinances were adopted just now that will significantly change the traffic pattern and parking in District 4. That's Chandler Avenue, Union Street, and East Baltimore. So please note the new signs, parking restrictions, and traffic patterns that will be posted in the coming weeks. We requested a light installation on Bernard Avenue that was installed, and we're still waiting for Mildred Avenue light to be installed. There was a traffic operation through the police department in the area of 1600 East St. George's Avenue, where I initiated last year a request along with the Borough of Roselle to have a push to stop light installed. The police are going to forward that data to the state DOT in an effort to expedite the request and firm up our assertion that there is a need for a light at this location. This Thursday is the 5th Ward's regularly scheduled community meeting. It'll be at 1025 John Street from 6:30 until 8 o'clock. We're going to celebrate Hispanic heritage as we have for the past 6 years. This year, we're celebrating a very humble, unsung hero, Mrs. Janet Bo Sierra. The Board of Elections will have the new voting machine there, and you're welcome to come touch and feel it. We're going to use that November the 5th. I've also invited the candidates, all of them, for the November 5th Board of Education election. It's not a forum, just giving them an opportunity to be seen and introduce themselves to the constituents. Save the date. Oh wait, reminder, the polling location for all 5th Ward residents is located at school number 4, and the entrance is in the rear. You have to enter on Mildred Avenue. Save the date for November the 10th, from 12 to 3 p.m., the Linden Board of Health and the Linden Lions, along with St. John the Baptist Church, the Episcopal Church, will have a free adult health screening that will include free eye examinations and prescriptions for anyone who needs one, hearing screening, hypertension screening, and flu shots. The event is being held at the church, 2018 DeWitt Terrace, across from McManus Middle School. Later tonight, there's going to be a resolution that will come from the Council Investigative Committee after they conducted the investigation of a former employee. I would really like to move that the City Council take the same level of zeal that was put into this other committee and establish a committee to continue to investigate specific matters in personnel, including theft of time, hiring, promotions, and so on. So anybody here want to make a second on that?
Second. What are we voting on?
We're asking the council to form an investigative committee. This is like since August, and the other committee that retired and is going to provide their report today. Let me just say this. They took pain, they had a consultant, and they were very thorough. And all I'm saying is, that is not the only matter that should be investigated. I know that I was absent at the public meeting on September because I was ill, but in September at the caucus, there was still no mention of my request, right? So we want to investigate hiring, theft of time, our policies on promotions, our policies on hiring. There are a number of issues, and they go back a long time. So I made the motion, and Councilman Roman seconded it. So we're just trying to see in public who on the council is going to support this.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Discussion?
Yeah, I mean, is this protocol to do this from our reports to something I think we should discuss this and have an outline in council as to exactly. I'm not saying that it's not a good idea. I just want to know exactly what we are looking for, who we're going to be looking at. This is just a little bit general right now. What are we going to just like investigate everybody? But like, let's come up with some concrete names, who we think offenders are, what's involved, and let's build it. Yeah.
Mr. Antonelli, can we have a?
Sure.
Council President.
Obviously, the preferred method is to provide resolutions in writing and ordinances to council in advance of tonight's meeting. On occasion, the deadline that's put out by the city clerk's office is missed, at which time the council president, in her discretion, allows those items to be added to the agenda, or it's decided by the council as a whole. To the extent that the councilwoman has made a motion before this body, I don't think it's proper at this point in time. I think the proper motion would be a motion to add the resolution to the agenda, and then obviously if that passes, then perhaps the motion could be then voted on separately. But that there's no resolution that's in writing before this council, and I would think that before this body were to allow that resolution, it would first have to decide whether or not it wants to add it to the agenda at this point in time.
I have a comment for discussion. If I may. So, even though the attorney told you all of that in like all those words, that's not true, because we make resolutions all the time, and when we request lights to be installed, that's considered a resolution, and it's one sentence that is read by the member of the council who sits as the chair on the Construction Code and Lighting Committee. And to the councilwoman's point, I gave specific information in August. I've talked about it again, and no one is, like listening. I'm desperate, so I'm bringing it to the public. I don't know if anybody heard the podcast or whatever like that, but I am afraid to name names in public because of the behaviors of some of the employees that may be involved in a lot of this. So the council president has the ability to create a committee, an ad hoc committee. And when Councilman Brown requested a committee to investigate one specific employee, there was no hesitation, there was no pushback, because there was an issue that was identified. I've identified a number of issues, and I said to the council before, people were hired in Linden and their applications were dated 23 days later. If just that needs to be investigated.
Council President.
Yes, Councilman Brown?
Yes. So a couple of things. We do vote on resolutions off the floor, but when it comes to resolutions like this, you need a list in there, who's going to be on the investigation committee, the scope of the investigation committee, what it's about. So we don't have really anything tangible to vote on. Just saying we're going to do investigation committee in this, with that magnitude, again, that's something that we've never done. It has to be written down, again, who's going to be on it and the scope of the committee. Every time we've done one, that's been the scope. It's been written down. We had a 2-hour meeting before. This wasn't discussed. And at the same time, we have a personnel committee, which I voice when it has come up, that they've done a good job with our personnel. We've separated personnel and finance, and the personnel committee has been addressing issue after issue, things that have been lingering for years. And so my faith has been in the personnel committee that for the last couple of years, when a council person or employee brings up an issue, it gets addressed there. I think it's been successful so far, and I think we should continue that process. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, Councilwoman?
So to Councilman Brown's point, I sat on the Personnel Committee for 4 years before the majority of council refused to allow me to sit, okay? When I was on the Personnel Committee, the things I brought up were told to the employees, and then the employees started to Oprah my job. They were sending complaints. There's an open complaint right now because I looked at an employee and they didn't like how I looked at them. Like, this is not like a joke, right? We have to be serious about what we're doing. So employees are being hired without proper education. You have employees who are out sick and there's never an FMLA submitted for them, right? Who should be on the committee? The committee should consist of folks who are objective and who have not sat on the committee in the past 2 years. How about that? Because things that come to the committee get pushed under the rug. I can't speak specifically, but I'll tell you one thing. The chairman of the committee this evening in our 2.5-hour workshop didn't even know about an item that was on the agenda, which we ultimately removed because it was, in my opinion, not part of how we do business, right? So I asked to be on the personnel committee this year, and 6 council members put their hand up that I shouldn't sit, right? Period. There's an issue. I'm begging you, Councilwoman Yamakaitis, form the committee, and the scope can be, in general, I don't want to name names in public again.
Councilwoman, could you prepare a resolution for next month and we could vote on it then? Let's go through the proper channels for. According to our
Council
attorney, it's the
President.
proper protocol, which we have a resolution that's walking on tonight.
I would-
I ask that you please.
I would
Talk
take
to
this
the-
resolution, because he said if you would allow us to read the resolution in tonight. So just my
The council members have
synopsis.
not received even a written copy of it. We
It's-
have
it's
one
just-
that's going on the floor, so they
Council
should be
President.
given the courtesy of being able to read it and comprehend it.
I get it, but going forward, if there's anything off the floor,
Going forward, council should be given the opportunity to have the actual paper copy in front of them before they vote on it. You said that in caucus yourself. Councilman Brown, you had your hand up?
Yes. I just want to clarify something. And we can go back to the tapes, we can go back to YouTube, we can go back to documentations. The reason why Councilman Cosby is not on the personnel, and I'm going to speak for me, my vote, is because, and this can all be Oprah'd, just like I'm being Oprah'd for a bunch of stuff, and I don't encourage it, but because of the number of tort claims and other claims that are being laid upon the councilwoman for the way that she was behaving towards employees, following them, police reports, and some of us felt that this was an issue that was going to be a liability to taxpayers, because employees do have rights as far as how they're being treated, as far as what's being said, even up on the dais when we attack employees, and I keep saying, this is a liability issue. In the municipal budget that we pass every year, there's a line item there, insurance, that deals with tort claims and liabilities. That was one of the reasons I could speak to why I did not support it, because after years of being on the committee and seeing all these complaints and explaining to the councilwoman, it's all a matter of how you present it, how you talk about it. And this is the only person on this dais that has outstanding, like she said, claims against her. So how can I, am I right, and me, continue to support something that's going to cost taxpayers a liability issue? I can only speak for me. What happens next year is up to the council. But we need to put all the facts out there, because we want to nitpick on what.
Excuse me, let's keep order in the council chambers,
Because we
please.
want to, and I'm going to leave it at this. There's 42,000 residents in the city of Linden, and the people who are in here who want to bash us and who don't want to believe the truth, it's all documented. We could do the Oprah request. I see the people do the Oprah request. And when it becomes an insurance liability issue, and we show that we're saving money and 2 tax rate decreases and all this other stuff that is beneficial moving forward, it's called proof in the pudding. So, end of comment.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Roman?
Thank you, Council President. In regards to what the councilwoman said and not everything else that was said, in regards to this specifically, this has been discussed thoroughly by council. They're kind of picking and choosing here. You know, they want to investigate this and have 2 municipal investigation committees on these 2 things, but then they don't want to investigate the things that are blaring you right in the face on personnel issues. You know, you can't talk about names. That's not how personnel issues work. You don't even need to legally put down who's going to be on the committee, because the council president does that after. And no municipal investigative committee that we've passed in the last year, 2 of them, has said who was going to be on the committee on the resolution. So that was wrong. All the councilwoman asked was to ask for a show of support on this, and this is something we have spoken about before. She has brought up great points, with issues with all kinds of things. This isn't my forte, but I would like to learn more about it, and I would be interested in whatever the truth and justice is. If you come to work for the city of Linden, show up. You know, don't steal from my parents, and don't steal from the rest of you. It's really that simple. Or whatever the reason may be, or whoever's getting hired without putting an application in, or whatever it may be. It's really just good, good, bad. Like, it's one side or the other. It's not, there's a clear line here. The scope of the resolution can be engineered later. And I just simply ask now, so we can get beyond this, that the council president ask him, the law department, Councilor Antonelli, to draft a resolution about, so that we can start to investigate these issues that, as the councilwoman's point, are pressing matters and really, really matter to you guys out there in the city of Linden. Thank you, Council President, for allowing me.
Councilman Roman, 2 items of correction. Okay, with special committees, the council president does appoint the members. That's not up to debate.
That's what I said.
No, you didn't. You said correction, as well as far as the past 2 municipal investigative committees, they were specific in what we were investigating. It wasn't just an open-ended investigation. So, once again, I asked the councilwoman to please have the law department draft up a resolution so the council can view it, as well as be specific on what we're investigating.
That's only
So-
Mr. Antonelli?
Thank you, Council President. First off, the 2 investigation committees that were formed recently was by way of a written resolution. It's very specific with regard to the statutory grant that allows this body to form an investigatory committee. The statute 40:48-25 requires this body to put a proper scope of the investigation, and it's limited to that scope, as well as the resolution also requires that the members of the committee be in fact named. So it is a council decision. It's not the council president determines who is on the committee. But these investigatory committees should be formed by a written resolution. I'd be happy to speak with the councilwoman. Obviously, after today, I will prepare a resolution consistent with her wishes to be discussed at the next council meeting.
Councilwoman, are you good with that?
Well, I'm afraid, because like Councilman Brown said, there are tort complaints. A tort complaint is anybody can go to the city clerk and write a complaint, right? So if I looked at an employee funny, there's a tort complaint. If I complained about an employee coming to work late with their kids, there's a tort complaint. So all that is true, and you can actually read about it in my book, Plantation Politics, in December. But it doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it right. You see what I'm saying? So I'm afraid that if I give you the specifics, then they're going to go back and fix it before we can get to the real investigation. And I'm also afraid that you're going to put the same people who may have a relative or a close friend or someone, on that committee that won't be objective. And so to the point of objectivity, there was a consultant hired for the most recent one, the last one, and it was like to the letter. Everything was, T's crossed, I's dotted, all of that. And I mean, I have the knowledge, especially, human resource knowledge, to actually look at the laws and the policies. Having sat on the committee and watched some of my stuff, we sat on the committee together and we did good things, right? Now, what are we doing? I'm afraid. So, I mean, I'll do whatever you say I need to do, but I'm afraid that it's still gonna get voted down at the end of the day. And the ultimate, what's gonna have to happen.
Councilwoman, if you present something, I will guarantee you that you will get the same thing that we did hire somebody, if need be, to do the investigation.
All right, well, I
Okay?
appreciate the consideration.
Councilwoman Hickey?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I wasn't going to go here. I was hoping all of this would just wash out tonight. But I want to let you all know, the public and everyone watching, because a lot more people do watch this than you think they do. One, there are certain individuals up here that are the best manipulators and speakers that I've ever met in my life, and it's pretty unbelievable. I always believe people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, or as one of the other one that always makes me laugh and says, or should, people in glass houses shouldn't walk naked. It's really funny that we have people on investigative committees that should be investigated themselves. And I'm not mentioning any names, Council President, I'm being respectful. But quite honestly, I always say I'm a tough woman, but the past couple months have been pretty tough. Last month, I didn't come to the council meeting because I was in fear for myself, my family, and being treated horrendously. The month before, after a caucus meeting and being followed up by a councilman, I had to go to police headquarters because I was always able to put up with all the bullying tactics. The person who's up here that talks, that says he never criticizes everybody else for it.
Councilwoman, we're talking about a
Right, I
possible-
understand. This has
Let's
to
stick
do
to
with
the
the
resolution and
committee.
council.
This has to do with the committee. So now we're handing a paper a couple hours ago regarding a committee that they want to form against the next employee. And I understand that there's a problem or there's an issue, but when their problem on this council is with the person who has the issues and is running the committee and is in charge of the committee, then we have a problem. Because you know what? This woman was sitting in police headquarters, and now there's been a YouTube video released at one of my weakest moments because of the tactics that I have to deal with. So you want to know what needs to be investigated? Certain council members up here, and I just truly wish he would let this council move forward, and he would just resign immediately. I can't sit up here anymore and watch the committee member run in the back of the room, run behind the doors, come sit up here, come stand behind me all the time. So when Linden gets serious and this council gets serious, let's form an investigative committee about true, honest people. Councilman Cosby, she said all the right words here tonight. Because you know what? People were judging her up here who've had their own investigations against them, and nothing ever happens. They've had employees who filed complaints about them, and they coincidentally, whether it's sexual harassment or anything else, all of a sudden, they're found that they have no problems with it. So you know what? I'm taking one for the team and for the people, because enough is enough, Councilman Brown. It's time to go.
Councilwoman Councilwoman Cosby.
Councilman, please, we're not having this back
all
and
right,
forth.
no, I know.
Councilman, don't even go there.
No, I have to.
That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council
And
President.
so I'm just going to say this.
Councilman, you'll have an
Thank you.
opportunity
No.
later in the evening.
Give me 20 seconds, please.
You'll have a minute later
Okay.
on in the end of the
Thank you.
meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman. And we will please have that prepared for next month so the council can review in caucus. Thank you. Councilman Roman.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to, just give me a moment on the clock real quick. I appreciate that. I'm going to defer the start of my report, and you can run the clock if you'd like. It's perfectly okay. And respectfully give Councilman Sadowski an opportunity to speak. He wants to share something with the public and the council.
Yeah, there you go.
I knew that. Okay, some of you may know me. I'm a former councilman, 6th Ward. John gave me the time. I just would like to mention a couple of things. About 2 weeks ago, I had a stroke. They called the fire department, they called the police, and so on. They gave me wonderful care. I mean, all those other times we talked about them up here, I talked about them. The last time they were down at the fire department, they came down to take a cat out of the tree, out of a tree. This time they took me. But I would just like to mention the people or the men involved in it. Just happened to be men. This was out of Firehouse 1. It was 8 platoon L-52 ambulance with Joe Smigelski, P.J. Valenza. The engine that came was Captain Jason Halabinko, Mike Marcino, Ryan Yusko. The police officer that was here was David Arake. They gave me wonderful, by the time I got into the thing, up to the hospital, they almost had talked me out of what was wrong. But I know that they did jobs all through those, what was it, 9 years, 10 years I was on. Never realized when you were really sick what they did for you. I just want to thank them, because I think Linden has people here, the police, the firemen, anyone you need, they will be here for you. So just in public, I just want to thank them, that's all. The last thing I want to say is, I'm going home now.
Thank you, Councilman Sadowski. Feel better.
Thank you, Councilman Sadowski.
Councilman Roman?
Thank you, Council
Continue.
President. I'm thinking about doing a small cleanup in an area of the 6th Ward this weekend. It's going to be small. I'm only grabbing a few people, and we're going to clean up something that's been a sore to my eyes for quite some time now. So, you know, I'm not grabbing everyone like I did last time. It's going to be quiet, and it's going to be the 2nd annual, but I'm going to go for big and go big or go home for the 3rd annual come next May. So I just want to let you all know that. Milling of East Morris. Diane, as you know, in front of your house, after they paved it, they hadn't paved East Morris since 1982. Councilman Sadowski wanted it paved, and I didn't change it when I came on board. It deserved to be paved, and it got paved, but there was a lot of water standing because there was a mistake made in the milling. So it's getting redone. The mill, it's just got to come back and get paved. It should be done soon. If anyone has any issues, call me, please. The South Style Street project. PSE&G, Elizabethtown Gas is out there doing the gas meters every night. I've been talking to them about doing the short-sided meters during the day, because they are pounding away at the meters at 3 a.m. in the people living on South Style Street's house. It kind of is an inconvenience, but the people are so understanding, and they get that this has to be done because of how busy South Style Street is. It has to be done at night, the long way. The short way, I'm working with them to get it done just during the day to maybe 10 houses. PSE&G came through the 6th. I mean, I've been on council for 22 months now. I finally had a handle on trees. I felt like I probably cut 40 dead trees out, and I'm working on, with this council, paying for more trees next year. That way we can match how many we're taking out with how many we're putting in. I think that's very important. But PSE&G came through and cut a bunch of trees, and they brutalized them, and I didn't know what was happening at first, and I talked to PSE&G. They came out, they met me, I showed them the trees. They were like, well, maybe we went a little overboard there. Maybe we didn't mean that. They've been so helpful, and they're going to work with us, so I just want to let you know that. I went last week out to look at the sidewalks with Joe Kroback, new sidewalks in the 6th Ward, and those are going to be happening over the next month, so just look out. In the St. Teresa's area, the VFW area, and some real bad spots throughout the ward, so just be careful when they are getting redone. I'm having a community meeting November 4th. It's a Monday. Please come. I'll have food and beverages for everyone. The Walmart's slated to open November 13th. I want to make this clear to Hampton and Smith. I will be there for you all the time, every minute you need me. I will inform you the best I can with the information I receive from Cypress Equities, Bowler Engineering, Walmart itself, and the rest of the city. Alex Laspinosa has done a good job of also keeping me abreast to what's going on down there. I want to say this out loud. There are no plans currently for what's going on at Hampton and Smith. That's property in between Hampton and Smith. So right now there's nothing. The FAA won't allow it. I know they'll try, but that is down the road some. So I want to give a big thank you to Anne-Marie Vasquez of Smith Street and Nancy Sadlam from Phillips 66, who have just been consistently working hard on the issues with Conrail the trains behind Smith Street houses. We got them out there to cut. They left some stuff behind, and they are going to come back and cut them. I will call them every day if I have to. And the whole night thing with them rolling through during the night, it's gotten a lot better because of Nancy and Anne Marie. So, in regards to the fire department, we really do have the best fire department. Money, in the county, let alone the state. These are great guys. And to whomever is appointed chief tonight, I just want to say to them that they have a very big task to restore the morale in that department. And I think that whoever that person may be needs to understand that that is the biggest thing, and that they need to talk and understand the complaints and what's going on with all the firefighters and not just some of them. So good luck to whomever that is. And Council President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman Roman. Councilman Strano?
Yes, Council President, I will start off with my personnel report. And we're going to start off with the fire department, and we're going to read letter A, which will be the appointment of William Haskell as provisional chief in the fire department, subject to the final certification by the Civil Service Commission effective October 16, 2019, at the prorated salary of $172,300. In B is the permission to interview and appoint 6 firefighter candidates subject to the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. Under 2, Police Department, the appointment of 2 Special Law Enforcement Officer Class 3 from the attached list, which will be effective November 1st, 2019, at the rate of $30 per hour, pending successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. B is accepting the resignation of in good standing of Alexandra Parazzoli, Public Safety Telecommunicator, effective September 22nd of 2019. And C is accepting the resignation in good standing of Joseph Condora Jr., a Public Safety Telecommunicator, effective September 22nd, 2019. 3, in the Department of Community Service Public Works, A is the approval of the termination of Michael Kossop, Laborer 1, effective August 22nd, 2019. B is accepting the resignation in good standing of Hafiz Brown, Laborer 1, effective October 1st, 2019. C is the appointments of Jalil Span, James Quatakis, and Khalil McLeod as Laborer 1, Tier 2, at the rate of $15 an hour, effective October 28th, 2019, pending the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. D is the appointment of Martin Washington as a truck driver, Tier 2, at the rate of $21 an hour, effective October 28, 2019, pending successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. E is approving the promotion of Anthony Cesny to Maintenance Worker 1, Grounds, Tier 2, at the rate of $17 an hour, effective November 1st of 2019. F is approval of the promotion of Richard Vesey to Maintenance Worker 1, Grounds, at the rate of $17 an hour, effective November 1st, 2019. G, approve the promotion of Alexandro Primavera to Tree Trimmer at the rate of $17 an hour, effective November 1st, 2019. H, approving the promotion of Adam Abu Hamad to Tree Trimmer at the rate of $17 an hour, effective November 1st, 2019. I is approving the promotion of Corey Higgs to Motor Broom Operator at the rate of $22.95 an hour, effective November 1st of 2019. J is permission to post for an additional 4 laborers in the Department of Community Services. The vacancies were created by transfer, resignations, and the terminations listed above. 4, in the Engineering Department, approval of re-advertising for the position of a senior engineer statewide due to the lack of qualified applicants or candidates. 5, in the Municipal Court, A, accepting the resignation in good standing of Rebecca Casablanca, temporary clerk, effective September 6th of 2019. B is accepting the resignation in good standing of Deanna Williams, clerk 1, effective September 25th, 2019. C is the appointment of Tammy Langford Henderson as clerk 1, effective October 21st, 2019, at the salary of $34,548. pending the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. D is the appointments of Micaiah Wade Passmore and Geraldine Jimenez as temporary clerk 1 at the hourly rate of $18 an hour effective October 21st of 2019, pending the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. 6, in construction code, A is approving the increase of hours for Tom Gasser, code enforcement officer, not to exceed 25 hours a week at no change in salary. B, approve the immediate posting of a part-time fire subcode official. 7, in the recreation, approval of the recreational seasonal list, which is on file in the clerk's office. 8, in the Treasury Department, the appointment of Siniqua Walcott as a student assistant at the rate of $10 an hour, not to exceed 20 hours per week, pending the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. 9, in the Personnel Department, FMLA/NJFLA, leave requests are on file with the Division of Personnel. Are there any questions on the personnel report?
Okay. Mrs. Malik, please come up.
This is on 2A. What is the purpose of the special law enforcement officer? And you give an hourly rate here, so how many hours per week are you anticipating
Can I answer?
employment?
You want Mr. Roth, or you want to?
These are the special law enforcement officers that are going to be assigned to the schools.
So they're going to, oh, all right, work in the schools there, and so they're giving an hourly rate. This is not going to be a permanent employment for them?
Yeah, it's pretty permanent, you know, until they resign. It's a special law enforcement. Some of these people are qualified as retired police officers. They meet the requirements of what a SLEO Class 3 is for the purposes of being security in the schools.
Okay, and can you say at what time or at which schools that these two officers will be in?
No, I can't, not at this
It's
time.
going to be assigned, if Councilman, it's going to be assigned by the, it'll be assigned by the superintendent of schools.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any others?
Guess that's it. Seeing none, I make a motion for approval of the items on the personnel report and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby? Roman?
I abstain on all but 1B and 2A, respectfully.
I'm sorry, Councilman. I didn't-
Abstain on all but 1B and 2A, respectfully. I don't think it's my choice to make. I voted abstention on everything but 1B and 2A.
So you're
Vote yes.
voting on one and
Yes on everything else?
Thank you, Ralph.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to point out Mr. Haskell, who's sitting in our audience, and congratulate him. I'm sure, Bill, you'll do a great job, as you've always done in the past, and we look forward to working with you in the future. In my ward report, well, I just want to comment on Bob Sadowski's. I'm sure he's made what I consider to be like a pretty miraculous recovery. If he just suffered a stroke as recently as he did, and it has to be something that's got to be attributed to the immediate care that he got following the incident. Very familiar with stroke victims when I was 17 years old. My father had a stroke when he was 49, and he was a paraplegic for the rest of his life. He lived to be 76 years old. So seeing somebody recover as well as Bob did, you know, it gladdens my heart that our EMTs and our police department are as good as that they are. I have a request from the Mount Moriah Baptist Church. I usually don't do this, but I was sent this, and I feel that this is something that the community can be involved with. At the Mount Moriah Baptist Church was located on East 14th Street down in what we call down Linden in the 7th Ward. And they're having a physician's health ministry there. And this was sent to me by Charlene A. Snowden, who's a parishioner there. This is going to take place on October 19th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And there's going to be several MDs that are going to be speaking there. Everything from pulmonary care to pediatricians, orthopedics, surgical oncologists, interventional cardiologists, internal medicine. I think it's something that I am glad to announce to the public. If there's any questions, you can telephone this phone number. It's 908-862-7766, or email info@gmmbc.net. I think they probably sent this flyer to the mayor's office as well. They could probably get more information if you didn't get what I just said. Okay. Things that are going on in the ward. I jotted down some notes here. Later this week, well, let me put it this way. First of all, we had the last of the 4 houses that were raised and the remnants removed. I believe they're pretty much done today. These are the last 4 houses that were part of the Blue Acres buyout as a result of Hurricane Sandy or Superstorm Sandy. Those properties are now going to be worked on by Enviroscapes, which is the contractor that's going to do the restoration. There's going to be a significant amount of work done there. There's probably a couple 100 yards of dirt that's going to be removed so that they can bring the level of the property down to what it was originally. They're restoring this as a flood control project. It's a wetlands restoration project. There's going to be a lot of tree planting. They're trying to bring it back to its natural state as well as they can. They will be providing paths that people can walk through and enjoy the nature there. Also, as part of the flood control, we had the parking lots treated with a pervious surfacing where the water actually drains through the parking lot, not off of it, and that was done at the 2 parking lots at the PAL fields. The rest of those parking lots had not been resurfaced, and as part of one of the contracts with Z Brothers, they're going to be worked on starting next week, so that we'll have completely resurfaced parking lots at the PAL field and the recreation field parking lots. There's a remainder of a pile of dirt that was removed during some of the sanitary sewer work throughout the city that is about a 22, it's on it's a resolution that's being approved by DSI.
Time is up.
Really? We talked about a special committee for about an hour, but I can't finish my report.
Yeah, you need an additional minute?
A minute, please,
Yeah,
thank
okay.
you. That will be happening starting probably next week or so. So that area, which is near the dog park, will be nice and clean now, and hopefully remain that way. And I think I will conclude my report with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, Councilman Coates?
Thank you, Council President. I want to deal with something more positive than what's been going on in this dais. Today is my last day up on City Council. My time has expired. My term has expired. I promised A4 that this seat was not going to be empty, and I kept my promise. And it's my time has come for somebody else to take this seat. I appreciate the Chief of Police, the city workers, the clerk, recreation, the engineer department, the fire department that I worked with while I was here. And you guys that come here every month and voice your opinion to make Linden a better place. I appreciate you guys and with everything y'all had to say. Y'all are the real voice of Linden. Linden can move forward if everyone decides to work together as a team and stop the bickering and the pettiness. It's all personal. It's not about business, it's all personal. They'll say about business, but it's not about business. It's all personal. If we work together as a team, we can move forward. Till that happens, we're going backwards. And that's just the bottom line. What I'd really like to say is Halloween is coming. Take a treat, please. If your kids go to door, go with them. Make sure it's not too late. And check all the candy. On that note, I thank you, Linden.
Thank you, Councilman, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Council President.
Councilwoman Hickey?
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Councilman Coates, for those words. And we all wish you the best of luck and the great things you do in the community for service. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well, my sidekick isn't here tonight, Councilman Medina. I'm sure he's watching on TV, so I'll give him a big old wave. I hope he feels better. Councilman Medina and I had a first Sunnyside picnic. It was a great turnout. I want to thank so many people for coming. We can't wait to do it next year, bigger and better. We had a lucky, nice day, and everyone really enjoyed themselves with the fire trucks there, OEM, police, so everyone really came together. It was a busy day with the Polish Festival, but I did make it there later on, which was a great event as well. So I just want to thank everybody for coming, and Councilman Medina and I look forward to doing that again. The American Legion, Unit 102 on Elizabeth Avenue, they are having a Veterans Day service on November 3rd at 10:30 a.m. at the Reformed Church on Northwood Avenue in Linden. If you would like to attend, the number to reach is 908-486-3714 to RSVP. I just want to let everybody know that this is an extremely great organization. Sometimes they do hot dogs or some burgers at night, or they don't have a full menu all the time, but it's a nice thing to go and support them. They're a bunch of really great people, a bunch of great veterans. I am going to get my dad's paperwork and join myself, and hopefully volunteer in there a little bit to make a difference, because I do love doing it. The last Saturday in January 25th, is the 10th anniversary of Casino Night, which I really love doing. And all the workers at the Linden Housing Authority do an amazing job. I'm sure we'll have some really special things in store for our anniversary year. I can't wait to see everybody there. And if the Director Ferguson's listening, I keep telling her we need to hike the price up of the tickets a little bit, because it really is that good of an event. We give you a lot for your money, and it's for a good cause, the seniors and disabled. With that being said, I just want to thank Council. There was a resolution that is on the agenda tonight. The Housing Authority is a very close place to my heart, and as Councilman Coates just spoke, that, you know, we need to show togetherness and unity and make things work better. And me personally, I am really trying to do that, because I know I'm part of the stubborn problem as well, because I do take things personally, especially when it comes to the public. So once the mayor just said that one time that I would be great on the Special Improvement District, I really, really like him lately. I feel like I could talk to him. So I hope that I can set an example, and the mayor can help me out a little too. I would really love for him to, we don't have to go out for dinner or anything, Mayor, but I would really like for you to meet you at School 10 and Alcala McManus, and also School 9. We really need to work together, you and I, to get things fixed and completed and upgrade at those schools for the safety of our children and our parents. And I know together that we can make great things happen for our families and kids in those areas. And I'll be happy to plan the celebration. And you can speak, Mayor, okay? Is that a good deal? Talk about moving forward. I'm almost finished, Councilwoman. I'm sorry. Oh, God, what's in? Okay, I'm back on the neighborhood app. I know that's Armando's thing. I saw some residents who weren't happy because I don't really respond on that. I'm more of a Facebook girl, maybe because I'm a little older than Armando. So I went back on that app if you have any questions or issues. The Kiwanis Club is having the Taste of the Town. It's a great big event every single year that the Kiwanis Club has, and it is on October 29th. From 5:30 to 8:30. Tickets are on sale. I don't have all the information, but it's probably on the city website, right, Council President? Yeah, nobody mentioned it, so I thought I'd mention it because June Lazaro lives in my ward, and she's just going to hand me a flyer and say, can you say this? The OEM, Office of Emergency Management, their budget hearing is soon. I'm just warning the chief, and this is the first time he's hearing about it, and the CEO, but OEM has been doing a great job. They've been at so many events and stuff this year, and I'm hoping we can sit down and discuss with our CEO a new truck and a couple more radios for some of our dedicated responders. And I've also talked to the chief that...
Councilwoman, you need additional time.
One and a half. That we need to, this is a very important building with extremely confident emergency management plans inside that building. And it's also a hall where many parties are at. And there's a lot of issues going on, you know, people hitting, you know, cars to poles or this or that. So I'm requesting that we get cameras for the outside of the building and on the inside. I think it's extremely important. I think Office of Emergency Management under the leadership of Chief Hart has come a long way, and we need to sink a little money into there because they do deserve to have the best. Tree trimmings, you can always email me. Superintendent Frank Dan said we have a new system in place now. Everything will be implemented in the computer. I've already noticed that it's going to run smoothly. If I have missed you or you haven't been trimmed or you need a tree trimmed or taken down, please text me or email me or just leave me a message on my phone so it's clear. A heartfelt thank you for all the amazing birthday wishes that I got this weekend. Some of the things that you receive from residents, little things mean a lot to me. And like I said earlier, it's been a rough couple months, but I want to thank everybody they truly made my day, my weekend. And Nancy Braxton, her family, my thoughts and prayers, a wonderful woman, an asset to Linden. And that concludes my report, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mayor Armstead?
Yes, good evening, everyone. First, let me start by congratulating Chief William Haskell on his promotion. Chief, we know you're going to do a great job. Fire Department needs strong leadership, and I'm sure you're capable of leading the department in the direction it has to go in. So once again, congratulations and good luck, okay? In other news, I'm happy to report that the Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, and LA Fitness have been granted site approval by the planning board this week. Actually last week. We anticipate they'll be open for business within the next 6 months, depending on the weather. This is at our Legacy Square development, which is the former General Motors property. With that said, Walmart has advised us that we'll be having our ribbon cutting ceremony November 13th. This Walmart will be the largest Walmart in the state in its flagship store in the tri-state area. On Thursday, September 26th, our Linden First program hosted a job fair at the Linden Multipurpose Center. Happy to report that it was extremely successful. We had over 30 employers present, and 556 registrants came out looking for work. Our Linden First program has truly gone above and beyond for several of our local businesses, and I encourage our council members to continue to support this effort. If you or anyone you know is looking for job placement, I recommend you contact our Linden First program at 908-290-3107. This Saturday coming up, we'll be hosting our first Latin festival from 2 o'clock p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Promenade. We encourage everyone to come join with our Spanish community and attend a fun-filled day. And we're hoping that the weather will hold up. So far, it's looking pretty good for us. Our 5th annual car show is being held at Aviation Plaza Sunday, October 27th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is a scholarship fundraiser that we have every year in memory of Frank Vigiano, who died tragically in a car accident. He's one of our police officers, former police officers, and Joey Rodriguez, who is a lifelong Linden resident and a great guy. So we just hope that everyone could come out and help support that effort. We're having a harvest party on Halloween. That's 10:31 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Linden Multipurpose Center on John Street. This will be a carnival-style party with games, fun, and candy. And if you'd like to donate candy or to help this cause, you can contact our Recreation Department. They're still taking donations. And last but certainly not least, the Taste of Linden will be on October 29th at the Grand Banquet Room on Style Street. This is an excellent time to showcase our restaurants. I've been there a number of occasions, and the food is absolutely fantastic. So please come out and support this great cause. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to reiterate what the mayor said about the harvest party. If anybody would like to make donations of candy, please contact the Recreation Department. It's a very good cause to keep the kids off the streets on Halloween. So it's a safe environment. It's a carnival-style event where they play games and win candy. So anybody that would like to make a donation, you could drop them off at the Multipurpose Center. So please consider doing so. And I just want to take this opportunity. We had our first annual Polish Festival 2 weeks ago, and I want to thank everyone that was involved, in particular Danuta Lasowski from St. Teresa's Church. She was very instrumental in getting the performers as well as some of the vendors at the event, as well as our Polish supplementary school from St. Teresa's. The children and their parents performed. It was a great opportunity for them to display some of the Polish culture. This was, as I said, this was the first one we had, and there were some kinks in it, so we're going to look to move where the food vendors are. I hope they consider that for the Latin Festival as well, and we'll move them out in the parking lot probably just to make more room, as well as order more food next year, more vendors with the food. One of the delis was actually cleaned out as far as Monday with the food, so that was a success. So I want to thank our Recreation Department, Ralph Dunham, and of course, the late Nancy Braxton was very instrumental in helping us. Councilman Brown, we met in July and we just kept pushing with this to get this done, as well as Mrs. Zach. She was very instrumental, as well as Dan from her office, and former Councilman Koziel was a big part of this committee preparing the beautiful program that was done. So, and just again, I want to thank Public Works and Public Property. They were there pitch hitting the day of the festival, so we couldn't have done it without all these people involved, so thank you, everyone. Okay, we're going to move on to resolutions. Okay, resolutions 2019 through 373 through 2019 391. Public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions. Oh, okay, yes, we have an additional one, 292. Mr. Clerk, can you just please read a brief synopsis?
Resolution referring the findings of the Municipal Council Investigatory Committee formed pursuant to NJSA 40:48-25 and in reference to a certain former municipal prosecutor.
Okay, public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions to be removed from the consent approval. Each member of the public shall be given up to 3 minutes to speak on a resolution that they requested to be removed from the agenda. If they request more than one resolution to be removed, regardless of the number, they will have a total of 5 minutes to speak on all. Please read the synopsis of the resolutions which have been prepared by the City Clerk's office. Each is informative and it's self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address a specific resolution, the council will entertain questions on it. Does anyone wish to remove resolutions 373 through 392?
Council President?
Okay. 1 second. Councilman Javik?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to remove 384 and 390.
He's asking to have 384.
From
and
consideration.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes?
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Does anyone wish to have any of the other resolutions removed? Mr. Halloran?
375 and 383.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Lindahl? 390?
390 was removed.
Yes, that was removed. That was removed from consideration. $375, okay. Anyone else?
What's the name?
Council President.
Mr. Lindahl. Michael Lindahl. You do, Councilman, after we do a motion in a second? Okay, anyone else?
392.
You do it after. Okay? Okay, can we have a motion on the remaining ordinances?
Council President, I move for approval of resolutions 373, 374, 376, 378, 379, 380, 381, 382, 385, 386, 387, 388, 389, 391, and 392. And ask for a second.
Okay, if anybody has.
Second.
Now,
Mrs. Ormond?
yes.
Javik?
Discussion?
Yes.
There was, okay.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to, in regards to 392, this is a resolution referring the findings of the Municipal Council Investigative Committee to pursuant to NJSA. In regards to our certain former municipal prosecutor, listen, this is bottom lines of this, is that I was handed this, I'm sorry, I wasn't handed it, I was emailed this at 1:02 p.m. today. I didn't see it till some time after. The start of this came from the council presidency to the city clerk at 12:23. And in talking personally with the city clerk, he didn't know anything about this until it was emailed to him. So this was emailed to city council, the 10 of us, at 1:02 p.m., but at 12:56, the Star Ledger, and the email said, confidential document, do not disclose to anyone. And then at 12:56, 6 minutes before I got this email with this report, the Star Ledger put up an article about this report. So Star Ledger had a 2-day head start than the city council had on this. I'm not sure what I'm voting on here. You know, I can say that I'm concerned, and I voted previously, on this council, I voted yes for this situation to see where it goes. But again, if I get the email and I get the report of 1:02, which I didn't see until after, but the Star Ledger is reporting on it, 12:56 on a confidential, supposed confidential document, who let it out? Is it a hit job? Is it a smear job? Is that what it is? I don't know yet. And I haven't had time to digest this. So having worked with the Ledger before, I know it takes 2 to 3 days to get a story out. So one of my colleagues let this out prior and essentially had no regard for it actually being confidential. I don't know if, I don't have the answer at this point, but I'm not comfortable, voting on this right now, so I'm going to end up abstaining. There should be a separate investigation about which one of y'all gave this to the Star Ledger. The mayor had a quote in the Star Ledger, so I don't know how we found out about this today at 1:02 or after, and everyone else knew about it prior, when the subject of the email said, hey, this is not for disclosure to anyone. I read through as much as I could get through the report. There were some inaccuracies there that I knew to be inaccurate. But then again, there's some things that are concerning. So I'm respectfully abstaining until I can further dig into this myself. Because I know this municipal investigative committee, things I do know, that this municipal investigative committee used their power to try to investigate other things. They went up to people and said, I have this power and I'm investigating, and they went outside the four corners. So this resolution right here has four corners. It's only allowed to do its intended purpose, and that's what the investigative committee is. But once a person given this power goes outside of that, they're committing a crime. And I know for a fact that happened, and I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. So I'm respectfully abstaining. I don't have to vote on this. I'm not going to. Thank you, Council President.
Councilman, a lot of that was misinformation that was given out. This, as Councilwoman Cosby had requested an investigative committee, this one was highly confidential, and no one went outside of the scope of the investigation. It was kept very confidential, and I, as council president, received this and issued it, given every council member the courtesy today to have an opportunity to review it before the council meeting. We could have handed it to you in the council caucus.
Council President, when did you receive
Councilman,
it? When did you receive it?
Councilman,
I would just like to know. It started with you. When did you receive it?
you are out of order, Councilman. I am speaking.
Okay,
Okay,
Council
so
President,
I
understand.
forward this to Mr. Bodek, which is the proper procedure for the council members to receive it. As you know, we do have a problem with things leaking out of that caucus room in executive session. Okay? That is a problem. So where it went after the clerk issued it to the council members, I do not know. As far as the confidentiality with that committee, they went
How did it get
within
to
the
the Star
guidelines,
Ledger before
Councilman,
it was
I
sent to
have-
me?
Point of order.
Councilman, you're out of order.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman.
I was going to talk about 377, I will, but in regards to this investigation committee, I knew that all this was going to happen, and it's a lot of pointing fingers, but we're missing a point, $147,000. In the beginning of the year, we said that there was an issue. We had hired a third party. It's the same people making the same arguments. People want us to hold people accountable. At 8:37, the councilman talked about we shouldn't be, the theft of service and time, talked about all these investigations, and here it is. What's disturbing is he keeps saying he doesn't know, speculation, all the speculation, and making accusations not being involved in the committee when we had an attorney who was there that's not tied to any campaign contributions like council members are here, who was not tied anywhere politically to make sure we cross our T's, dot our I's. It wasn't rushed. It was done thoroughly as possible and sent to a third-party auditor, done, again, properly. Someone who didn't make any campaign contributions. We're going to put that out there because there's people here who, I don't want to get into that. But nevertheless, it seems like nothing can be done right from one side. The other side's always complaining, yet not producing any results. When it comes to this report, it was not leaked by me, wasn't leaked by anybody here on the dais. And again, it's speculation. And until you have proven facts, the danger with speculation is that it's only a small group of people who tend to believe it, and what psychology calls confirmation bias. They want to look to see what it is that they could point out to prove their point when the facts are in black and white in this report. Time was missed. That's not fiction. This was confirmed with the court outside here. The court has no reason to lie. It is documented. Subpoenas were issued. Everything pertaining to what you are allowed to do by law, state statute. We have attorneys who go to law school to make sure that everything is in order, hence why this report was produced now. If we're arguing getting out to the Star Ledger, let me put it this way, then we're having the wrong argument. We're having the wrong debate. We're outraged for the wrong reason. Because anybody else who misses more than 50% of scheduled time that they're supposed to be at their job is unaccounted for. Anybody else that has pension payments being made of taxpayer funds and doesn't show up, we wouldn't be talking about this. The public would be outraged. But this is the politics, because certain people work for the county. Certain people get campaign contributions from individuals. Let's look deeper.
Councilman.
So, with that being said, and we go the back and forth, I don't post any of this stuff on the internet. If I did, then I would be no better off than the other people who are preaching unity, but yet want to talk about people's family members. Now, what I do want to talk about is 377, which deals with Carolyn Fries with breast cancer, because she's a woman who has been part of the solution of moving the city forward. When I hear people saying we're not moving the city forward, on the one hand, we're talking about events. On the other hand, we're talking about 2 tax rate decreases. And the people who are putting in the work to do it are the ones that's being hit. Guys, it's a pattern. Carolyn Fries is someone who had breast cancer, who helped out with the Polish event, who helped out with the SID district. And at the same time, with people here bashing the SID district because they're not on it. Once they get word that they're on it, all of a sudden they want to be best friends with people. We have it here. You guys have it recorded. We should be talking about the positivity, and I have been trying to do that. Carolyn Fries is a perfect example. I want to congratulate her and thank her for her work, that while she was sick and we have another person in the SID office that's on crutches, putting up a beautiful window display, and we're quick to bash that person here. We need to stop. A report was done. Let it go. And we choose to let it go to the proper authorities, let them investigate it further. We did our due diligence. We're doing it the right way. We can go back and forth, and people can disagree, but when it's in black and white, when people sign a document, whether they're here or not, that's undisputed facts, and not opinions, and not speculation, and people crying wolf every council meeting, and nothing has been substantiated since then for over a year and a half. It needs to stop, because it comes down to cyberbullying and cyber harassment when people, even here in the audience, are talking about other people's family members. It's wrong. And you're doing it here.
Please, let's remain in order here.
And that's
Out
fine.
of order, Ms.
But
Brooks.
Jen, it shows your immaturity. It's all right.
You're out of order.
It is. But
Point
you
of
make it
order,
stop.
Council
Council
President. Point of
President,
order.
Council,
It's always you. That's me.
Point of order.
Mr. Antonelli?
It's sad.
okay.
It's sad. It's the same people.
The
Mr.
council,
Kazar, you're out of order.
Point of order, Council President.
the council rules prohibit, the council rules prohibit comments.
Ms. Vlasic, you're out of order.
The council rules prohibit comments from people in the audience. Your opportunity to address this body is at the microphone and at the podium. And if you don't like the comments that are being made or the comments that you're hearing, you'll have an opportunity at the end of the meeting to make your comments. So I would remind everybody that we have these rules. And Council President, you're exactly right. You call someone out of order. If they continue to disregard your order, you call them out again, and then I would suggest you have them removed from the meeting. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying there has to be some decorum here, and the rules need to be followed.
Councilman Roman, what's your point of order?
Thank you, Council President. I was just getting to the fact that no one speaking was now, anyone speaking from the dais or not, was not talking about this resolution any longer. They had nowhere
Councilman
near.
Brown was talking about. the
talking
other
about a lot of
resolution on
things,
bread
not the
And
resolution.
the other one. You had your opportunity.
I would like to rebut the things that
We're
Councilman
not
said about me.
rebutting. Mr. Antonelli, are we allowed rebuttals on?
I mean,
Council President, you as the council president determine whether or not any other member of
seconds.
council is beyond the scope of the resolution with his or her comments that's before the body.
Thank you, Council President. I never received a dime from anyone involved here, neither did my campaign. My campaign did not, but his did. Check that elect report. Secondly, respectfully, I think that any wrongdoing, period, any injustice in this world should be looked into. However, I just got this, and the Star Ledger had a 2-day jump on this and had put the article out before I even got the email about this, and anyone here did. No one on this council got the email about this report, and got the report before the Star Ledger released the story. So who leaked it? There's only 3 people that could possibly have it. The committee members, the 3 committee members, the council president, or the mayor, or the attorney involved. I would like to know who. I would respectfully ask. Just go ahead and just say, yeah, I did it. That's it. And then we can move on with this business. That's simply it. Thank you, Council President. I'm good from here.
We have a motion and a second. Councilwoman Cosby?
Yeah,
you have
not
a-
like a discussion item.
Council President, can anybody comment on this resolution? May I?
let Councilman Cosby, and then I will give you opportunity, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'm not talking about 392, I'm talking about 386. So Janet Bowe Sierra is, a lot of people know her in Linden because she volunteers on a lot of stuff. I just wanted to call it out because she wasn't able to come tonight, and we weren't able to make a presentation for her. She is a kind woman, and she serves on a lot of different committees here in the city. She's been in Linden 25 years. I've known her probably 22 of those years. And so I just wanted to just call out. In the 5th Ward, our neighborhood is very diverse, and we started celebrating Hispanic Heritage 6 years ago. And, you know, we have our meeting in October. We have the person come, and they're celebrated. Sandy was here. She was a past recipient, Councilman Medina, a lot of different folks in the city. Janet is an unsung hero. She serves on the Youth JAC Commission. There's a Hope Committee she's on. She's a PTA parent, and she also works in the school district. So I just wanted to just call her out in public and say, thank you, Janet. I know you're going to kill me, but people need to know. You know, her comment to me was, I'm nobody, and I disagree. So there's a lot of folks that are doing a lot of the work, the grunt work in the background, and they're not celebrated. Janet is Boricua. She's a Puerto Rican, and, you know, she came to Linden from Brooklyn. Just so you know, Janet was a former 5th Ward resident. Her daughter was also Miss New Jersey, 5th Ward. And, you know, she has a teacher. Melissa's a teacher, her other daughter, and she has a college student in Montclair State, Tiffany. So, I'm sorry, Vanessa. Tiffany was Miss New Jersey. But anyway, I just wanted to call it out because she's not going to let me give her a presentation. But, you know, for the record, Janet Bowe is awesome, and we're celebrating her in the 5th Ward for Hispanic Heritage. That's all. Thank you.
Mayor Armstead?
With regards to the resolution referring to findings of the Municipal Council Investigative Committee, the facts are the facts. I mean, you know, we can try to divert attention to what has happened here by talking about a report being released early, but the facts are the facts. You know, there was $147,000 in change that the city was defrauded out of, okay? You know, I understand your predicament that you're in, Councilman Roman. I do understand. You're a county employee. I understand that. I understand you work, don't you work for Laura Scatori?
My boss is named. Laura Scatori is the most capable woman I've ever met in my life.
But you work for her, though, right?
It don't matter.
Well, yes, it does matter. It does matter because you can't make an informed decision based on your employment.
You just
And you
stopped
know it.
working for the county, sir.
Exactly.
And you got fired.
Exactly.
You got fired.
No, I
You
didn't.
got fired.
Roman.
I got the timestamp.
Point of
order,
Sir,
I did.
Point of order.
We have
It's very easy to say that.
Councilman Brown, what's your point of order?
Very easy to say that, Councilman Roman, but show me the paperwork, the proof.
Okay.
Okay? Here, one of the reasons I left the county, John, is that, you know, I want to be able to think independently. And I've thought independently. I've challenged.
Sir, you're out of order.
I've challenged you and your cronies at the county time and time again, and every time I stood up to them, I've been victorious. Okay? Now the problem here is that you can't make a decision because you're tied to that county, and you make the wrong decision, they'll throw you behind out of that county, and you know it. Okay? You are loyal to Nick Scuteri. You cannot make a decision, and you sit up here and tell everybody that you didn't take any money, but we got the elect reports where you did take money.
Not from the Democratic
You
committee.
took it
nor
from the
Nick
Democratic
Scuteri.
committee,
We're
who was
not
run
doing
by
back and
Senator
forth,
Scuteri.
Councilman.
Stop
No,
it.
I did not.
Okay.
Councilman, Mayor has the floor.
You cannot make it. You cannot make a decision because you're loyal to that organization. Okay.
This is
Now,
all
the facts are the facts
misinformation,
here.
smear campaign.
The facts are the facts here. The senator admitted to himself that he let other people work. He admitted himself.
I didn't take
Councilman,
an.
we're not going back and forth.
Council President, can I
You'll
just
have
say,
an
I did
opportunity
not
later.
take an.
Councilman Brown?
You guys are lying to the public. It's not the reason you came to serve this
Councilman,
city.
you do not have the floor right now. We have a motion and a second on the floor. No more discussion on this. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes.
Knock it off.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
I'm going to vote no on 380 and yes to the rest.
Roman?
Abstain on 392. Yes to the rest.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Okay, Mr. Halloran, I apologize for you having to wait so long. Please come up, Resolution 375 and 385.
Council
Excuse
President.
me a minute. Both of you. Okay? You want to behave like children? I will call you out like children. Mr. Halloran has the floor. Let's be respectful, please.
My apologies, Mr. Holland.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman. Council President, no apologies necessary. Okay? Now, on 375, to me, subdivision of a park, is that just so that we can apply to Green Acres for extra money for part of the park? Or are we selling the park to make a subdivision of houses?
Okay. And what's your question on 383?
383, what is an extraordinary unspecifiable service when all it sounds like is we're paying for a prescription plan?
Okay.
What is it?
All right. 375, Mr. Antonelli, can you explain about this to Mr. Halloran?
Yes, Council President. Mr. Halloran, this resolution authorizes an application to be filed by the city with the Green Acres program in Trenton to subdivide a portion of Woodrow Wilson Memorial Park to remove .103 acre of the park and provided to the school board, the Linden Academy of Science and Technology. So I guess it's an effort to allow them to better serve their students through improving their school campus, including the potential construction of a building addition. So this is the first step in the process. The application's made. If Green Acres determines that we could divert this property from our Green Acres inventory, then at some subsequent point, the city will be obligated to essentially find some new Green Acres, if you will. And I don't recall the ratio, maybe 2 to 1, so we would have to replace it somewhere else within the city so that there has been no reduction in our Green Acres inventory.
Thank you.
And Mrs. Zach, Resolution 383, that's,
Dental program?
yeah, but the prescription drug program?
We go out every year to the market for our various benefits, and our broker had gone through, and we were successful this year in actually being able to obtain a quote to become fully insured for our prescription plan. In the past, we've been self-insured, and in some instances, our liability had been well over $2.2 million. By being able to have a fully insured prescription plan, we're able to set that maximum amount that we need to budget at less than $1.6 million. So that's why we're making this recommendation that we move forward with allowing us to move from Express Scripts to Benecard, which is going to be a fully insured plan come January 1st of 2020 for our employees.
So it sounds like the city's saving, what, 700,000?
We have potential to save up to that, yes.
Yeah, so, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Halloran. Okay, Mr. Lindahl, Resolution 375. Please state your name and address for the clerk.
Michael Lindahl, 15 Grant Street. So, Mr. Antonelli already explained Ordinance 375, but since I'm writing a paper for my public administration class, I have to speak on something and I have to ask a question because my professor might check the minutes of the meeting. So, my question on this ordinance is going to be, is there any proposed areas to replace the .13 acres that is going to be taken from Wilson Park and given to the school board?
Okay. Mr. Antonelli?
Yeah, Council President, if I may, in speaking with Mrs. Zach, our CFO, it's my understanding that I guess the goal here is to, once we make application to Green Acres to divert it, that there will be no replacement that I had indicated previously. And it's my understanding that the diversion, the .103 acre, will be sold to the academy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Lindow. If you need any further assistance with that, please let me know. I'll get you in contact so you can help you with your class. Thank you. Okay, can we have a motion on resolutions 375 and 383?
Council President, I move for approval of resolutions number 375 and 383, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, before we move on to ordinances for introduction, Mayor Armstead just brought this over to me. I will allow this. This is for an important cause. It was forgotten to be mentioned before. The Linden High School Navy ROTC is raising money. Please help them support the cause. The funds from this campaign will be spent to outfit the cadets with necessary equipment, supplies, necessary materials, fund scholarships, afford tournaments or competition costs, cover field trips, et cetera, et cetera. They're a diverse program that trains and educates students in the values of citizenship, service to the country, personal responsibility, and a sense of accomplishment. You can make a donation to, it's called Snap Raise, and you could go on the website. You simply click the fundraiser page where you can learn more details and support the cause. Mayor, you have this on your page?
Yes.
Okay, so if you'd like to make a donation, this is a good cause. The ROTC is there for many of us throughout the city, so please consider helping them. Okay, ordinances for introduction. Deputy Clerk, will you please read Ordinance 6349?
An ordinance to adopt a second amendment to the redevelopment plan entitled 1001 West Elizabeth Avenue Redevelopment Plan, Block 423, Lot 4.02, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 at sequence.
Okay, can we have a motion?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Ordinance 6349 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby? Roman?
No.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
No.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6350.
Ordinance approving the application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with Meridia 1001 Urban Renewal Linden LLC.
Okay, can we have a motion? There's no comment on this.
Next month,
Next
Diane.
month. Can we have a motion on this, please?
Peter.
63-50 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
No.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
No.
Hickey?
No.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6351.
Ordinance amending the redevelopment plan for the Southwood Ave redevelopment project pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 at sequence.
Okay, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce Ordinance 6351 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
No.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
No.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6352.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 7-33 Handicap Parking Regulations,
7-33.1A, handicap parking on street. Add 738 Dennis Place, 1 space.
Can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce Ordinance 6352 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed? Yes. Roman?
Yeah.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemekaitis?
Yes. Ms. Wolverding, if you, you will have an opportunity next month to come up, but if you have any questions or like to see the ordinance in full, you could get it from the clerk's office. And Mr. La Spinoza is in the back of the room. If you have any direct questions you'd like to ask now, you could catch him, okay? Okay, comments from members of the public's in attendance on city business only. Again, no personal, political, or derogatory comments, not to exceed 5 minutes. Is there anyone that did not get a chance to sign in and the sign-in sheet to speak? Okay. Your name, please? Dawn. Okay. All right, Craig Halloran? Oh, I got you. Anybody else? Okay, Mr. Halloran?
Craig
Please state your
Halloran,
name and
120
address for the clerk again.
Craig Halloran, 120 Donaldson Place. First of all, I'd like the city and Barry Gavick to say thank you for putting up a children at play sign on Donaldson Place. It was a welcome sign. I hope the kids, I know other parents have expressed that they had noticed it on Donaldson Place. Last month at the meeting, the mayor had made a comment that he was going to bring a demonstration or explain about the contract for the sewage authority on their sludge. And I was just wondering, is that going to be presented at the sewage authority, or can I stop by your office and get the facts?
You can stop by, but we do plan on doing a presentation today. I'm sorry. You can stop by, but we do plan on doing a presentation. Today, we actually just finalized the deal today. We actually signed the written contract today. So next month or either,
Okay, no, next month is fine. I just wanted to understand what the process is.
Yeah, we'll
and
bring-
how much it will save the taxpayers of Linden.
We'll bring the whole Aries team in and give you a nice pictorial representation of what we're doing and how, and let you know exactly how it's going to benefit the city.
Okay, thank you. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. In the budget, I know a lot of this may have, may not be valid, but I don't think anybody in city employment should get a higher percentage raise than the lowest paid people. So if the person at the bottom says make $1 and they get a 2.5% raise, anybody else in city government shouldn't get anything higher than 2.5%. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody. I don't know 99% of the people that work for the city, and I'm nothing against anybody in the city. It's just, what's fair is fair. The people at one part of the city employment get 2.5%. Everybody should be stuck with 2.5%. This may not need to be asked, but the investigation to Councilman Roman, that's been concluded, or, because I haven't heard anything outside of, okay, and the inspection of the sewer line that they were working on by that one brook or creek, what did that show, and what is the final cost to repair any leaks or any other damage to that pipe?
Can you finish your comment?
What sewer line in particular?
This goes back like 3 other meetings. I can talk to you at a different time. Yeah, thank you. And I believe that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Have a great day.
Okay, Anthony Mislon.
Anthony Mislin, 444 Inwood Road. We spent the first 20 minutes of today's council meeting honoring someone for their quote-unquote economic contributions to the city of Linden. I sure hope you guys have the same energy when you're honoring Miss Nancy Braxton for all that she did to this city. I know it wasn't anything economical to help you guys out at all or help the city, but she did a lot for the youth of the city. And I really hope that you guys don't forget about that. You know, it seems like we're spending a lot of time on all this other nonsense that's going on constantly. Everything that's going on in this room today is ridiculous. It really is. I'd like to know why people in the gallery, I understand they're talking out of order or being called out of order, but the people that are going back and forth with them, who are sitting on this council, have not been reprimanded once. One time, Councilman Brown kept going back and forth with Ms. Brooke while she was being called out of order. Not one time was he called out. The reason why she continued, she was being antagonized. Really don't think that's fair. And it's constantly going on. Same thing between the two councilmen that were sitting next to each other. If Mayor Armstead was speaking to Councilman Roman, he's not supposed to respond back, I understand. Councilman Strano shouldn't be saying a word to him. So if you're telling him to stop responding to Mr. Armstead, Mr. Strano shouldn't be talking to him either. I understand you guys have a different set of rules if you don't agree with it, but one really should go to another. When you're in a room like this, it's supposed to be a business meeting. You've said it numerous times in the past. So why are there certain council members walking around the office? It's a business, it's office, in the hallway, talking to other council members, talking to the mayor, while other things are going on, showing absolutely no respect to anyone that's sitting on this council or in this gallery. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Mislan. Councilman Strano, did I not call you out?
No comment.
Thank you. But I agree with you 100%. As far as Nancy Braxton, Mr. Dunham is in the back of the room. I had requested that we're going to set up a committee to discuss possibly honoring Nancy in some way. So we're going to ask for members of the public to serve. So if you would like to, please give me your name and your phone number, and we will set that up. You could be part of, okay? Thank you. Evelyn Campbell? Okay. Diane Wilverding?
Diane Wolverding, 150 East Morris Avenue. And I had been planning all along to talk about Nancy Braxton. I didn't know her well, but the few interactions I had with her, very sweet, kind woman, two-time breast cancer survivor. So what I thought of, and maybe someone else has thought of this, to name the John Street Recreation Center after her. So I just want to throw that out there. I just was really heartbroken to hear what happened. And while we're on that vein, the stage at the Raymond Wood Bower, did I say that right?
Yes.
Should be named after Gary Luciano, because he worked a long time. He started doing shows before they even had that. So another idea I'm throwing out there. I want to thank and acknowledge Anthony Schnesny. Am I saying that right? Am I saying that right? Schnesny. He has been doing the landscaping. I don't know if people noticed around the recreation center there. I didn't check John Street Center. In front of City Hall, I'm assuming that he did that. Very talented, it's just looking really good. So I was hoping, and it would only take about 2 hours at a time. I know the janitor at the library had been doing some weeding, but the big garden that's in front of the railing that has some very expensive perennials there needs weeding before the season ends, because if you leave that stuff there, the thistle plants, they'll come right back up in the spring. And obviously he knows about plants, and I'd even be willing to meet with him to show him what doesn't belong there and what does. And after a good rain, he could do that in 2 hours and get it done. But I have to compliment the other work he's been doing. And Mr. Coates, wish you a lot of luck. You were nice and calm and polite up there, and I'm going to miss seeing you. That's it.
I appreciate that.
Council President?
Yes.
Can I just add, Mr. Cesny had a partner all the time, that's Richard Vesey. He was also a very key person with regard to all the planting around the city. And I'll make sure I mention to them the library.
Thank you, Mr. Dan. Okay, Kelly Vlasic.
Kelly Vlasic, 30 West Curtis Street. So I have a lot of random things that I want to bring up. I haven't been here for a couple months, so my first thing is that, in my opinion, you cannot be a good leader without having good character. And if this is how the majority of you act out here in front of cameras, in front of citizens, I can only imagine what goes on behind closed doors in caucus. Repulsive comes to mind, probably, but you expect the citizens to want to work with you, to want to respect you. It goes both ways. This is an embarrassment, other than anything else. You cannot expect for citizens to sit here in these rows and not be outraged by what they see. I have to agree with Mr. Anthony Mislan. If you are antagonizing somebody who's sitting here to come here for information or to be involved, human nature, they're going to have something to say back. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, they're going to have something to say. So again, a couple months back, you guys passed out rules. The rules were for the council members. If you are going to, in your words, reprimand people like children, do it across the board. Don't just call out citizens. Don't just call out people that have opinions. Don't just call out somebody that might have an opinion that you disagree with. Also, have some order. Everybody shouldn't be parading around here, showing their phones, being outside, doing this, doing that. The mayor right now is on his phone, could care less about what's going on. It's inappropriate. Listen to the citizens. Listen to what's going on here. Have some respect. Now, my second order of business is Wales Park. It was all over council people's page, the mayor, everybody's page when there was a grand opening. Now myself, as well as two of my neighbors, just last Friday, for instance, between the hours of 3 o'clock, and you have a police officer here, between the hours of 3 o'clock and 10 o'clock, granted there was a football game, 4 times the police had to be called to that park. 4 times. I'm sure that there's a lot of other things that they need to tend to. Not to come to have kids being pulled out for smoking marijuana, for cursing, for waking up the neighbors across the street's children. The council person from this ward, that should be partly her responsibility, to know what's going on, to know if there's continuous issues. She shouldn't have to be called by everybody on that block. It's just, she should know, she should look into it. I'm sure you guys have reports from the police, from the fire, from everybody. Do something about it. Don't just be there to smile for a grand opening and not give a flying care in the world about anything else that goes on there. It's a problem. 6 houses before that park, it's a small street. Everybody has been calling the cops. Be involved, not just when things are good. Off topic, while we're talking about citizens being involved, good people, general people, there was a mailman here in Linden, Richard Soriano. Amazing man. That man, no matter what was going on in life, had a smile on his face all the time. Always wanted to help. Worked for the post office. Everybody had amazing things to say about him. He's gone now, rest in peace. Every single person in this room should take a little bit of him with them and try to be more like that. Because this bickering it's worse than what I see in my daughter's 5th grade class. Don't expect these citizens to sit here, to like you, to respect you, if you don't respect yourselves. And by the way that you act, you don't respect yourselves. The construction. I'm all for moving the city forward, getting revenue in, getting more tax money in. But all I'm hearing again about Meridia is a long-term tax exemption. And we are just, in common sense, we need to realize we're going to put this big Walmart there. Now, the little plaza where the big Walmart is, that's going to turn into a graveyard. So we shouldn't just be bringing in new and letting other stuff die. We should be figuring out a way to have businesses branched out into all of that. They had a jungle gym or whatever it is, park that just came in there. I'm sure they wouldn't have rented that space had they known that Walmart was closing. What's going to happen to them now? It doesn't make any sense. And if we keep giving these tax breaks and this tax money away and pilot program this and pilot program that, then have Meridia and everybody else contribute to some things for this city, to get involved, to help the homeless situation. Let's not just take down the shelter from the woman and leave her out there and think that that's a solution, because it's not. It's honestly pathetic that you guys, whoever did it, and I have my opinion about it, now that it's cold. Like, be decent human beings. All of you up there, be decent.
Thank you, Ms. Vlasic. Okay, I just want to take this opportunity to apologize if I missed somebody up here doing something inappropriate. I don't have eyes behind my head. We had a lot of nonsense going on here tonight, so if somebody was antagonizing the public, please do me a favor, just, you know, I can't see everything, so I apologize if that's the case. Okay, Mr. Kazar.
John Kaiser, 23 West Munsell Avenue. Bill Haskell, congrats, man. Real proud of you. Back from 20 years ago, worked at Bennigan's with this guy. Ms. Malik, I can answer the question, okay? I don't know what's going on. You got an I don't know, and you got a it's going to be decided. But we were all sitting at the meeting right before this meeting, correct? And Mr. Hart said the officers are going to be in Seoul and McManus. So I'll do that job for you. I did my own investigation. I'm my own investigation committee, Linden, for free, and here's my findings. Peter Brown, you got 10 weeks, man, and then you're out of here. You realize you have like zero credibility right now up there. Councilwoman Cosby is like completely being railroaded up there constantly. Like she brings up, did anyone listen to her podcast that she's talking about? Because I did. She brings up valid point after valid point on a pertinent issue, like one that's going on right now, okay? But we're gonna spend money on a firm to investigate Scutari. No one noticed like he was missing work while he was missing work? This is a joke. Real happy for Mr. Sadowski. I wish he was here. I would have had two amazing councilmen from the 6th Ward here at the same time. Mr. Sadowski was an awesome man. He was always there when we needed him. John Roman, thank you for the job you do, all right? John Roman is my councilman. He's pretty much a councilman at large. Doesn't look for credit. Okay, just to give you a little background, your sons like to talk on Facebook and say, oh, your boy, your buddy, John Roman. I met John Roman December 2016. Didn't know him and was told by my buddy, oh, he's going to be running for councilman in your ward. And I said, I felt some type of way. He's coming into my ward? This guy, this young guy? I'm like John Roman Berserko. 10 years after I was born, they said, we need a little calmer, John. Let me explain to you what's going to happen next year, Linden, during a presidential election year when this man is up for re-election, okay? The mayor's going to hope, Meridia is going to be filled with people that don't know Linden, all right? And this is how politics works, okay? He's going to throw anyone up against this man and hope that they just vote down the line to get another yes man in here, okay? Let me remind you of something, Mr. Mayor. Okay, back in June, you were quoted, I love using your quotes, as you put up another puppet against James LaCourte for the county surrogate. And you were quoted as saying, James LaCourte does a great job. We like this guy. He does a good job. But we're going to throw somebody up against him anyway. This is how politics works. You could have somebody doing an amazing job, but we're going to have somebody come in there who's my yes man, okay? So I'll say this. We got some people stepping up right now who hate politics. I hate politics, okay? If you throw someone up against John Roman, quite possibly the best, most effective council person up there right now, you don't care about Linden. I'll take it a step further. If you do throw somebody up against John Roman, I'll run, okay? And I think on entertainment value alone, people would want to see me up there with you. You know, like we have Mr. Donnie Givens wanting to step up in the 4th Ward. Mr. Mayor, you are a lifelong resident of Linden. You were a 4th Ward councilman for 20 years. That's quite an accomplishment. Monty Brooks, a pillar in the community, in the Fourth Ward community, lifelong resident, Linden High School graduate. Not a yes man, no. The fact that you threw up Mr. Muhammad against him shows that you do not care about Linden. A third grader can come up here and tell me how many marriage certificates and how many accidents there were in a ward for the last month. And I must say, I am more than disgusted that at a Fourth Ward community day, you're gonna have this gentleman up there talking hate, talking about white supremacy and talking about KKK. I wish I got that on tape, man, because it hurts me. And that's not the first time you did that. Election day, you looked at me, and what'd you say? You're a terrorist. I dealt with the Klan before. Let me tell you something. The Klan you talk about, they wouldn't have me. They would not have me. So now we got this hate monger, wannabe religious leader up here masquerading as a councilman.
Mr. Kazar, please no derogatory remarks.
That's not derogatory. What I wanted to say is derogatory. So Fourth Ward, I want to tell you to please take strong consideration in next year's June primary for Don D. Givens. Thank you.
Jennifer Brooks. Again, I just want to remind the members of the public, no personal, political, or derogatory comments. Thank you.
Jennifer Brook, Dill Avenue. This past Saturday, I had the opportunity to attend the Hooked on Fishing Jamboree. It was started out by my councilwoman, Rashana Cosby Hurling. Sandy Vasquez and Mike Jackson, they did a fabulous job. We took the city bus up. Unfortunately, on the way back, the bus broke down. So Sandy called the mayor, and I give credit when credit is due, and the mayor said to Sandy, whatever you need, you do it. Villani bus came and rescued us. There were some kids with ADHD and autism. I know the bus is kind of fairly new. The winter is coming. I hope all the council people and Councilman Blaine try and look at public works and the equipment and the vehicles and make sure everything is done for the safety of the workers and of course our seniors. I love my seniors because if the bus ever got stranded with them, it would be hard for them, especially if no one's there. Mike Jackson, we had a girl with a headache and he put the ice pack on her. It was great. And Sandy told Mike, you know, leave. We'll meet you back at home. He said, no, I'm following you. Thank God he did. And they pushed the bus, got us to safety. The police in Lebanon were great. They helped us. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Sandy and Mike.
Thank you. Dawn, please state your full name and address.
Dawn Bocio, 212 Yale Terrace, Linden. I just want to piggyback off of what Jen said. Also, I want to give a shout out. Rashana, you started it. Sandy and Mike and also Jay Sabilski. They helped out when we were there. The kids really enjoyed it for the Jamboree, the Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs. I really wish more kids in the community could come out and join because it's a really great thing. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mayor, too.
Okay, Arlene Sumner. Not here. All right. Henry Mack.
In the name of God, the beneficent, the most merciful. Thee do I serve, thee do I seek for help. Oh my God, show me the straight way, the way in whom there have stored favors, and not along the way of those that have been guided astray. And with their grace, make me free of wanting that which is beside thee. To my dear Mayor, President of City Council, member of council, I greet the city of Linden in peace, which I have a problem wondering, do peace ride through Linden? I have very serious reservation about that. First and foremost, on behalf of the people, I come before you humbly and submissive. I submit myself to the people due to the fact that you work hard and long for the sake of humanity and all mankind. But I have something on behalf of the people that we said, we got 2 more months, they told me. 2 months and a half, whatever they told me. And they said, well, I want you to close this year out because we got Thanksgiving coming, Christmas coming. We should get busy into the signal of trying to help humanity, those that is more, unfortunately, than us. We should be thinking about that. And what I have heard up here tonight, I have heard, Lord have mercy. I have heard, Lord have mercy. I have to call the councilwoman of the First Ward. I heard her say, I'm going to piggyback off of her 1 minute. In order for a man and woman to be successful with each other, watch your language, to be successful with each other, they must respect each other. They must. I didn't say it, she said it. In order for us to get respect in the city of Linden, the council members, elected officials, and sworn in officials, somewhere I read, I put my right hand up, or every one of y'all up there, put your right hand up and say, so help me God, that I'll serve the people. I didn't say it, you said it. You raised your hand, your right hand, right here in front of these people in the city of Linden, and said, so help me God, I'll serve you right. How you gonna serve somebody right and you can't respect yourself? How can you serve somebody right when you won't pay attention to each other? How can I respect y'all up here acting like, what somebody call them, 5-year-old kids? Y'all know better than that. Y'all wasn't even raised like that. I'm looking at all of you up here. I've been here a long time, since 1964. I ain't never seen George Bukowski, my mayor, the mayor, DeGorio, great men that played a council meeting like this. I don't know where y'all got it from. Where y'all get that from? I don't think none of y'all know. Y'all done growed into something. As I told y'all months and months ago, the principles, watch your language now, and the foundation has been laid in Linden by the great men that some has passed away. And here we are, nitpicking, trying to choke each other. Y'all trying to choke each other. I'm so happy that you cracked the egg that you got to make the omelet. You cracked the egg. You told y'all don't respect each other, so you got to make the omelet now. And if you just respect each other, the problem is resolved. You got committed people. I told y'all that a few months ago. If y'all utilize your community, community men and women, that's what I wouldn't have the problem I have out here in this community. I go through all the wars, and most of this laughing at me. Say, what you gonna tell them? Why we love you, and there ain't nothing they can do about it. But the bottom line, Mr. Coates, well, you said you're gonna do it. That's what you said. I'll do it. I'll do the job to the best of my ability. Well, I understand that this is over with. May God bless you and have a smile on you. And I want to say too,
Mac,
can I have one more minute?
we don't give more additional minutes. Thank you, Mr.
You said
Mac.
that? You actually said that?
Yes.
You actually said that to me.
Okay, Mr. Blaine?
Garnett Blaine, 1110 East Blanky Street, Linden. I want to start off by asking just a couple questions. About the work that's being done on East Baltimore, Amtrak along the railroad line, has that been totally completed now? Because I see they're gone, so I want to know about that.
That work's being done by PSC&G. It's part of a transmission upgrade between, I believe, Aldine and Roselle or Winnetka Park all the way through the refinery. So, no, it's not done. It might be done in that area, but it's not. It's going along the whole corridor from the beginning of Roselle into the refinery. So, that's about it.
I want to thank Mr. Hart for having the policemen out there controlling traffic. They've done a great job in the community, so thank you for your services. And one other question, the townhouse project that was being done, that's on plan to be done down where the old plastic factory was?
Park Plastic?
Park Plastics. I just want to get an update on where that stands.
They're still not turned over to the developer yet. Okay, there's a lot of paperwork yet to be filed, so very soon.
Okay.
That's what I was told.
Okay. So, I just want to say, I agree with a lot of things that a lot of people say, but we often look at the negative, and yes, sometimes we get too personal. So I'd like to see we conduct more business and less personal. And first and foremost, we have to acknowledge one fact. Let's acknowledge the positive. There was a time when I would come to these meetings, it would be 11:30, 12 o'clock, and it would be totally disarray and disorderly. Yeah, we still got some hiccups. We still got some ironing out to do, but ladies and gentlemen, it is only 10:20 and we're about to come to conclusion. You have to acknowledge progress is being made at the council meeting. Whether you want to admit it or not, progress is being made. Lastly, I want to say that I want to thank Mr. Coates, because him and I ran against each other, and if you learn nothing else, two men ran against each other. Not one time did you hear anything personal about me, about him. We did this as gentlemen. I thank you and your family for that. And I hope that when my day comes to sit on council, that we all get along and I can work with all the departments in the city to make this city a great place and move forward. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, could we have a motion to close the public comment section of the meeting?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion and ask for a second, please.
Second. Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Mohammed?
Yes.
Crosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Comments from members of the governing body? 1 minute. Roman. Okay. Councilman Roman? Okay. Go ahead, Councilman.
Mr. Coates, God bless you, sir. Mr. Blaine, I wait the day next month when you're up here, and I wish you luck, sir. If you ever need anything, please, I'm someone you can confide in and help in any way I can. Kelly, Avenue C back there, Modell's, the Walmart's going to be warehousing one day. The owner built in a buyout clause in all the lease agreements, so he's just going to buy them out and turn it into warehousing sooner or later. FMBA, thank you for coming to our aid in September. Remember, putting out the dunk tank. You guys raised $750. Daryl, Hasco, Stanley, you guys raised $750 for Spectrum All-Stars, $750 they didn't have. An awesome program that helps the special needs kids of this city. That program built right here in that city. And I just wanted to say that for years, 6 years, I stood at that podium on your side, and I'll be honest with you, I miss it. But before I ran, and I was honored to do that.
Councilman, your time is up.
I just wanted to say that I'm honored to do the job of the 4,000 people of the 6th Ward, and I will continue to do those always. So thank you.
Councilman. Councilwoman Cosby?
So the Fifth Ward Park is being renovated. I forgot to mention that. And the equipment's supposed to be installed on the 27th. And I think Ms. Malik left. We don't name any city structure after anybody who is not an elected official. However, my intention was to speak to the director and ask if we can get benches put in the parks with the, the memorial placard for Miss Nancy, because she was a Fifth Ward resident and she did a lot of stuff, programming and all like that, and all politics aside. My heart goes out to her family, but I want to have the kids and the adults who are sitting in the park. If we had a placard, with the new equipment on the benches in Fifth Ward Park, in Hagel Avenue Park when that comes out, and also in the Charles Street Park where, which was right by the wreck, and all the kids who grew up in that park definitely knew and loved Miss Nancy. So we can get that. That would be like at least something to memorialize and, show our appreciation for her years of service in the city of Linden. That's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Okay, Councilman Brown?
Thank you. All right, so let's try to make this quick as possible. All right, so why am I still on council after getting memes, posts from people here in the audience for over a while? It's because, you know what, I enjoy what I do. It's not from the negativity of the people in this room, but the positivity of the youth, the seniors, people who we're actually making a difference for, the people who aren't in the room here, who actually go to our events, who help out. Instead of criticizing, they're out there putting in the work or enjoying some of the events. Let me put in perspective, there's more kids that are working here in the city of Linden than there are people in this room that are throwing shade at us or throwing darts at us, trying to get underneath our skin and do all this other stuff, when using that energy instead to do something productive, to help out, to come to an event. And after I'm done from council, yes, I will be more vocal, because here's the thing, is that members of the public here forget that we're human beings too. And when you attack our family, you attack us, and that stuff's on social media, we do have rights. And so the faces and everything else that you make shows your immaturity.
Councilwoman Hickey?
As I said, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, but I forgot one
Excuse me,
update earlier.
Councilwoman. Councilman Brown?
Stare down, I get that too.
Please show some respect. Councilwoman Hickey, you have the floor.
I forgot to mention earlier, I spoke to the county last week in regards from North Stiles Street from Valley Road to Raritan Road. It seems like all the edges of the roads, they're all crumbling, lots of not potholes, but just rough edges. Trees need to be trimmed, the basins need to be cleaned. There's a couple trees on the 1800 block that need to come down. I heard back from the freeholder and the superintendent of DPW for the county, and North Stiles Street is on the list for next year to be paved, and they have already started trimming some trees and working on some of the areas there. They also did some patchwork on Beechwood, and I'm also going to have them do Birchwood in a couple other areas. So that's all, and I hope everybody has a good night. And my apologies if you think I'm being truly negative, but I have to speak up sometimes to let everyone know what is really going on. I like progress too, and I do want to work with everyone, except.
Okay. Councilwoman Ormond?
Thank you. I would just like to say to the Linden Police Department, thank you for such an outstanding job at protecting Wales Park. You guys are just amazing, and when residents call, thank you for being the first responders to go out and make sure that our community is safe and that I'm safe, because I shouldn't be the one out there responding to it. I don't have a badge, so I just like to thank you. And then Mr. Mack, I just want to say thank you also. You make me smile, and I'm going to tell you, sir, something that you said to me maybe about 6 months ago when I was under attack here in this very council room. You told me to turn the other cheek, You quoted a scripture
Excuse
that
me,
said when...
Councilwoman, excuse me. Ms. Vlasic, please. She has the floor. You're out of order, Ms. Vlasic. Councilwoman, continue, please.
Mr. Mack, you told me to, when someone smites, turn the other cheek, and I remember that. So you made me smile today because we share some of the same philosophies. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anybody else? Okay. Councilman Roman? Are you leaving for the evening? Please let us know so we could be marked in the minutes. Thank you. Okay, I just want to thank the public for their comments this evening. Rome wasn't built in a day. As you can see, you know, we're dealing with adults that basically some of them don't have common manners. So we're working on it. And I just ask the public to please also be mindful, be respectful as well. You know, it's a two-way street. Councilwoman Cosby, please prepare what you asked so council can look at it. Okay, thank you. All right. The council conference meeting prior to the council meeting Tuesday, November 12th, 5 p.m. at the council conference room, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council meeting Tuesday, November 12th, 7 p.m. in the council chambers, 301 Northwood Avenue. Can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Okay.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed? Cosby?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Coates?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes.